Sorry.
Sorry, guys, I forgot to push the record button.
Uh-oh.
You know, I like sending it, you know, I like sending these recordings to everybody, so I gotta, all right, so yes,
Well, are you calling,
But that's what people, go ahead, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Okay, no, I was just gonna say real quick, could you, healing, are you, because Erica said something, working on yourself. So would you consider someone working on themselves? Is that under the umbrella of
Healing.
healing? Right? As opposed to not doing any work at all.
Yeah.
But you know, the person who's working obviously is not perfect. So there's still some issues and flaws, but you're still putting that under the category of healed, as opposed to someone who's not putting in no work, but then they
No work
enter
at all.
into a relationship.
So yeah, so I believe that first and foremost, we mentally and emotionally, we always have things that we have to process because we all come from different walks, coming from different backgrounds, you know, and then when you're in a relationship and or a marriage, you may bring that baggage with you. Now, it doesn't mean that you continue to keep that baggage. It just means that if you're healing in the process of the baggage that you did bring with you, but that person still is carrying the same baggage, then I think what Erica is saying is that you can be, it comes to be a conflict now because you're trying to bring authentically your healing self. You understand what I'm saying? As opposed to continue to being taken back to an unhealed place. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you're in a process of healing, now, mind you, I get what the girl was saying. She's saying you shouldn't get into a relationship unhealed because you're already taking baggage with you. You understand?
Yeah. So what was her, like you said, she didn't clearly define it, but that's why I was wondering what her definition of heal, like if someone, because she's a professional. So someone asked her, well, doc, I'm working on it. What would she like? Would she say, well, do more work? Or is she saying, okay, that's good that you're in the process?
I think she's saying that's good that you're in a process. Like, so she brought up like a scenario. So basically, she said when she was like young, she was about 16, and she went through like a real hard heartbreak or, you know, breakup. And what happened was that her aunt, being about 40, told her to get up under another man, meaning this is how they heal, and this is how they were healing back in the day. So, you know, and it doesn't mean that everybody was like that. It just meant that that's possibly what the aunt was possibly going through, and that's why she can share that information with her niece to say, you know what, hey, you know, get over it, get up under another dude. You understand what I'm saying? So this is how you heal.
Well, Jay had the same thing happen to him.
Yes.
So it's funny. It's like
Yes.
people just say, you know what? And it's funny. I don't remember the movie, but I saw the trailer for a movie about this woman that was like now no longer in a relationship. So her best friend was like, you know what you need? And I was like, I know what you're going to say. Like, it's like cliche, but it's like you said, it's cliche. But now folks is like, listen, ain't no flavor to this, man.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like eating rubber. And you know what I'm saying? So, and to the thing you said earlier, from my perspective, I wouldn't necessarily say I was lowering. I would say I was compromising. I've compromised a lot because see, if you work, I don't think I'm working to make sure that I see what's going on. I see what I need to do, but I don't do it because, you know, maybe don't want to cause a rift or, you know, this person is so nice here, I don't want to mess nothing up. You know, there's a lot of things that could be, but I was thinking about, when you said that, I was thinking about compromise.
Okay.
How many times have we compromised, you know, good and well?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't like you're not aware. You're like, dang, man, I know it. But you kind of think, I'm gonna keep working until it like gets better, even though you're in compromise mode. You got to get out of compromise mode. So,
That's
So-
a good point.
Well-
That's a good point.
If you don't heal, you have a tendency, and like she was saying that her aunt told her to find somebody else. Well, if you're not healing, you have a tendency to gravitate to the same kind of person
Yeah, and that's
that you
another
tried
point
to
you
get away
made.
from.
Yep.
And I can attest to that because I had that experience. You, and you don't know because you're not healed. You hook up with somebody else and you don't see the red flags that you're hooking up with the same kind, similar situation. Because right now you're vulnerable.
Yeah,
So now you're vulnerable and you're weak and you just want to you're trying to heal, but you're so vulnerable that you gravitate to that same kind of individual.
It's easier to do that. It's easier because now you normalize stuff. When you used to being in that spot, it becomes normal to you.
you don't see the
So you don't know anything else but that. So you just gravitate to what's familiar. And you don't recognize it. Been there, done that. Like you say, same type of person, just a different face. They just look different.
Just look different.
Yeah, they just look different. You just keep going around in the same vicious cycle until you get to a point where you say, okay, something is wrong. I keep going through the same motions over and over and over again. And you have to stop yourself and say, all right, something is not right. But it's harder to face what you're doing wrong and what's really hurting you and going, it's hard to look in that mirror and look at all those issues that you have. It's harder to do that than to deal with somebody who may not be good for you.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to look at themselves and realize that the way they're going about life is wrong. That's a hard thing to do. To look at yourself and say, you're not right. You need to get yourself together. That's really hard.
Yeah. Mary says is it that you don't see the red flags or you're ignoring them? In some way, yes, I believe Mary, and also I believe Trey as well. It's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
So at the same exact time, if you're coming into a relationship unhealed, let's just look at it this way. You are actually coming into a relationship with what you are. So you're going into relationships with unhealed people because you're unhealed yourself. So that's what you're attracted to. You're attracted to something that is not beneficial for you because you're not beneficial for you. You're not even taking care of you. You're not even taking time to reflect on who you are and what you deserve and what you should, as a person, as an individual. Who am I individually? So you're looking for someone else to make that up or compensate that in some way, shape, or form when you're still not in a place of knowing who you are. So now you're looking for somebody else to validate you, and that person is unhealed as well.
So go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, because she said something in the video too about doing your own emotional work. So are you saying do you think women lean on the man sometimes to do the emotional work that she's saying she has to do? Because when that stood out to me, like, do your own emotional work. It's like,
Go ahead, Miss Joanne.
I'm going to say sometimes as women, it's a learning process. And it can go both ways. It's when you say, how do you define healing? To me, it's an I statement. Healing was recognizing and understanding triggers. Why was I attracted to certain people?
Yeah.
And that discovery was the absence of my father. So as a child, raising as a single home, and as the oldest, you have responsibilities, or you think you have responsibilities. So as being the oldest and semi-fully rejected or abandoned, sure, when Mr. Right comes along, you think that he's Mr. Right.
Mm,
So when you become to recognize and understand who you are, you can see the triggers and you be like, no, you're not the one. But that comes with a lot of hiccups
yeah,
along the
Yeah.
way.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So once we recognize and see our own personal trigger, and I like what she said in the video, now as you get older and you recognize what you want, you tell someone what you want. And it goes to what you just says, we compromise to avoid conflict.
Mm,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
deep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
we as women, we settle because of the fact the old way of thinking. He pays the bills, but you got to put up his foolishness.
Right?
Mhm.
She's pretty, but she not faithful. So men got to put up with her foolishness
Mm,
because she's pretty.
Mm.
We also compromise because we like to keep the peace.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so we have a tendency to make excuses and always, we have a tendency to blame ourselves.
Mhm.
Mm.
And that's another word for suffering and silence.
Mhm. Yep.
Mm.
Absolutely.
that's deep. We keep peace with others, but hell in ourselves.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
It's deep. It's just
Mhm.
deep because when we're compromising, trying to um keep the peace with someone instead of explaining to that person, like Miss Joanne was saying, once you recognize your triggers, once you recognize these things and recognize these things about yourself, these are the things that one, you need to make known. You need to say, listen, hey, this is what I don't want. This is what, and not be willing to compromise that. This is what I don't want. And this is what, for us to get to a better place or whatever the situation may be, you have to make those things known because first of all, men are not mind readers and neither are women. So communication is a very important part, and when we're not communicating how we're feeling and we're not communicating what we do and what we don't want, we struggle there as well. So that's another thing.
I think too, my sister just touched on, like from a woman's view, she's looking at the provision, and from the man's view, he's looking at what he sees. But like you said, there's a deeper beauty and there's a deeper provision. So that's what's deceptive sometimes, because you're in a situation where at its base, what the person is doing or providing is not wrong, but it's not deep enough.
Yeah.
Right. So if someone says, well, like I said, well, my man providing, but he doing everything else left, and you really not bringing anything, but you're satisfied with the surface.
Yeah.
So for instance, for the man, oh, you're just satisfied that you think she's cute, but you don't really know her beauty. Is there, or you're not really searching for someone who is really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Beyond our surface understanding of those things, provision. And that's why sometimes if you haven't had that in a while, if someone comes by and just throws like a little bit of that, oh, boom, you're off to the races, instead of, like you said, let me dig deep and wait. Let me observe a little longer, because then I'll get more details. See, and we don't like that. We don't like process, but I think that helps, especially with going back to the emotional work. Emotional work means process. It means now I have to sit down for a period of time and see how I'm moving. Like you said, see what my triggers are. I've been getting triggered, but I didn't know what the triggers were. Now I know, oh, it is that. Oh, it's when I feel this. It's when this combination. And I like what the sister said. As an individual, We all have different ones. So everybody got different combos. You know, like this with this with this, boom, off to the races. So it's a patience thing. And so we can't be deceived by what we see initially. You know, and like I said, I'm speaking for myself. Yeah, it's very easy for, oh man, look at her, but keep looking at her.
Yeah.
And then you're like, dang, why does that really?
Why
You
does that
know,
really bother her? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Go ahead, Mary, you wanted to say something?
Healing is a process. For me personally, I don't think one is ever completely healed. Healing is a lifelong process
It's true.
because every day, every moment of our life, just about you're going through something, right? And even when you know your triggers, you find, you know, some of us can agree with this. The older you get, the less tolerance you have for a lot of things. Those things become triggers.
Yeah.
So healing is a continual process. I guess it's just about getting to the space where you can comfortably be in a relationship and be okay with who you are and what you bring to it. Versus, you know, just jumping into something like a lot of people do now.
Mm,
Absolutely.
mm.
That's very true.
Well, wait,
Because
why
it's
is
not-
that, Mary? Why is that?
Why is what?
That last part you just said, people just like, why are we quick to jump?
In a relationship.
Because we want to skip
Right.
the process.
Say that again.
You want to skip the process.
Yeah,
It's
somebody
just
else just
like-
said it. It's kind of like we're so. I mean, today's society is so surface level.
Mm,
We are like, if it looks good,
mhm.
that's the only requirement. Like,
Mm.
you know, and I got two 15-year-olds, a 30-year-old, and a 28-year-old. And I know that if it looked good for my son, listen, but like when they there's no getting to know you,
Mm.
right? And it's Trey, you know what? That's a whole nother conversation. It really is. But it's like a whole thing about it. People now meet online.
Mm.
They don't even know if
Right.
you bathe regularly.
Well,
That's true.
well,
That's true.
yeah.
I mean,
Facts. That's
Well, listen,
facts.
Yeah,
That's
a lot
facts.
of-
You know, we live in a microwavable society. Everything gotta be quick.
and
Everything
we have to be wise with because we live in a society which there are good sides to the convenience and then there's bad sides. Like I'm not, like, for instance, I'm not shading online dating because a friend of mine met his wife and they're still married. They've been married 15 years. So I'm not saying it can't be done, but from a basic standpoint, it hurries a thing because you know what you can do? You just scroll through. Oh, I like. And so it loses like in the organic thing of just, you know, meeting someone. Because sometimes people don't even know they're going to meet that day. You're out with friends and it's like, oh man, I met, you know, whereas online, you're purposely looking for, and there's nothing wrong with your preference. Everybody has a preference, but I'm gonna go back to a little bit to what Joanne said. Interesting how it depends. See, there's a dark side to the preference, because if it's a triggering thing, you gotta steer away. There are some things for me that's a preference, but I know also it's like, that's really not helpful. So it's like we want to make it black and white. And it's just so many this and that. That's why we have to be patient. But like I said, the beauty, the Most High gave us the ability of communication, and we can talk through these things. And that's what I had to learn late. I didn't know it early. Like, man, put that on the table. Don't worry about what someone, or, you're worried about rejection, but then you end up getting rejected later on.
Yeah.
Either way.
Because you didn't address it. So you want early rejection or late rejection? I'd rather have early.
right?
we know where we're at.
So you can go
See,
on.
Nate-
about your
That's
business.
right.
Yeah.
Say next,
Right.
Yeah.
next.
No,
Right.
that kind of goes back to, you remember that night we were talking and I
Mhm.
said in the beginning, people, they show up as their representative.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
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 And she said something in the video, and I'm gonna try to paraphrase it, but I will tell you what it made me think is that Chingy said in the beginning, I'm sorry, we go into relationships and it's like, I have this and I have that and I have this and I have that. And then somewhere in between the middle and the end, none of that absolutely matters
No.
because
Mm.
we bend and we then want to be something else.
Mm.
And it's crazy because it's kind of like all the things that attracted you to that person in the first place ultimately becomes the very things that will turn you off.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
You start detesting them behind that ball.
yeah. And I think because if all the way at the end, if y'all watched all the way at the end, she was talking about the 6-year relationship she was in
Mhm.
Yeah.
and how she challenged this man for about 30 minutes to tell her that he didn't love her
He didn't love her.
because she needed permission
Yeah. To leave.
to leave the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's deep too.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's not that she didn't know, it's just that she needed him to validate that. She needed him to
Because exactly, because she said, listen, this man was, according to her, because we don't know the young man, okay? But he was basically a narcissist.
Mhm.
He was manipulative. She said out of her own mouth, you would catch him in a bed with 5 women and he would look her right in her face and say it wasn't him.
lie. He
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah. Mm.
So
Bill Clinton with it.
say that again.
And he said Bill Clinton.
I said Bill Clinton with it. No, he could
started
talk.
singing.
Like you said, he would talk. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. That's funny. It must be something with men because if you and yeah, I mean, words, like you said, with words, when you find out that you can manipulate or massage
Talk about
something with
okay.
words, that's a powerful thing, but that's something you have to now be aware of and you have to put it on the shelf. I'm just saying for a man, because that's very that's very harmful. Very harmful, very dangerous. But I was going to ask y'all this: the reverse to what you were just talking about, what the woman was talking about. Have you guys ever, so you don't get hurt, you push him out before anything quote unquote goes wrong because of fear?
You sabotage.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, sabotage. Yeah, sabotage.
Yeah, sabotage. Yeah, a lot of people do that. Mhm.
Okay, because I was in a relationship, and she kept telling me, "Look, here's the door. Like I know you probably don't want to be with me long." I'm like she was doing, and she kept doing this, and I was trying to figure out.
She's
Why?
probably been so
But-
disappointed in her life
Right.
beforehand. She couldn't believe that someone was actually here to stay and would love her as she was because she's been so disappointed, so much
And I
disappointment.
was trying
That's
to
what
figure
that was, yeah.
Yeah.
So she just kept trying to say, well, you want to leave anyway about a couple of months down the road, so you might as well go ahead now.
Right, and that's what it felt like. I'm like, wait a minute, why are you?
That's because she wasn't like in a healing place. She was not in a place where
Me
she
either, because like we didn't talk about it. I just kept thinking, well, dag, it was kind of making me feel a little insecure.
Mhm.
I'm like, then I'm doing the man thing. Man, close that door. I ain't going to do
Now
no.
you see how you said it
And
puts you
she
in a
didn't
place
want to
of
get hurt.
insecurity.
She didn't want to get,
Yeah.
she didn't want
That's
to
what
get
happens when
attached.
people don't
and
heal.
then
When they
get
don't
hurt,
heal, they
yeah.
do that. They
And
push you
Right.
away and they make you feel, which means they scar you. Now you're scarred. You're in the process of being scarred because she is placing her insecurities and all her hurt and brokenness on you now. So now you're leaving with insecurity. So now you're gonna take that and it's a vicious cycle. You go somewhere else.
Right. But
And
then,
you know what I mean? So
Or maybe she didn't really feel that way and she was just using reverse psychology because it had been done to her.
That, the
Yeah.
Listen,
other point,
What
that's
she
a good
did,
point.
so what she did was make Trey feel bad because none of us actually want to do the very thing that someone accuses us of doing, right?
That's
If
true.
she had constantly said you cheating, you cheating, you cheating, he'd have said, no, I'm not. Look at my phone. You can come with me when I hang out with the guys. Oh yeah, we going to play pool, but we go the extra mile to prove
no,
somebody wrong
that's
when we've
right.
done nothing wrong.
And right. So her deal wasn't like she was thinking I was doing something. It was more or less like you said, either no, but you brought up a good point, either a reverse psychology or she's like, all right, I'm not confident. But like I said, it triggered me to then do what I shouldn't have did, which was act like that ain't something we need to talk about. Because she would bring up, I think I had told you before, she was like a little older than me. So she kept bringing up the age thing. And lo and behold, I'm thinking about that same thing. But neither one, no, I shouldn't say neither one. No, she kept bringing it up and I could hear her fear in it. But then I'm like, I don't want to say nothing because this is going to look like I'm afraid. But we should have, right? That's an example of, wait a minute, two of y'all in this room. It's like you said, two of y'all in the room talking, but ain't nobody saying nothing. So that's what it was. It was a lot of that. Like, yo,
And she kept
really not saying
presenting it in
nothing.
a way that made you uncomfortable to be able to bring it up.
Oh, true. But see, what one of my triggers, if I get triggered like that, we talking about compromising, right? I swear up and down, I can conversate my way out of it. So because I knew what we needed to talk about, but I'm like, just let me keep talking. But we just going around it and I never hit it. So when I leave and I'm going home, I'm like, all right, maybe tomorrow I'll get there by not getting there. So that's madness.
It
But
is.
the thing is, just like always, like in the movies, when the dude gets caught by his girl and he should have, she said, why didn't you tell me the truth the first time?
Yeah.
He worried about all these things, but now there's a whole mountain of trouble just because he wouldn't say, well, babe, I felt like this, or I felt jealous, or I felt whatever. I was a little afraid. So you might not, you might look at what I did and see my weakness, whatever. Like put the reality there.
Put it on the
But
table.
then that goes to saying when you meet someone, you give them the option. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that and I'm not saying put all your cards on the table, but what I'm saying is this is who I am. You give that individual the option to want to stay, or we just be phone pals,
That's right.
or your number get blocked.
Forcing someone to
But the lady in the video was expressly saying that most people don't know who they are.
yeah.
So
So that even when you call yourself presenting who you are to someone, oftentimes most of us don't actually know who we are.
Yeah.
and that goes back to your childhood.
There you go. Yeah. It goes back to that child.
Well, I'll say I found myself, or I believe I started to find myself in the pandemic.
Yeah, I did.
Man, I was like, yo, who this dude in the bushes? And
Right?
so, I started to find myself, man. But,
Like, what in the world? What is
Yo,
You
going
ain't had nothing but
Wait.
time on your hands to sit there and look.
wait a minute,
Okay.
Latrice, what, I just saw what she put in the chat.
What she put in the chat? What she put?
I did not have
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
not
no,
forcing
yeah,
someone to
relation.
love.
Remember when Bill Clinton was talking about he did not
Yes,
have
that's why I'm backing up. Yeah. But see, he was almost so convincing where you're like, wait a minute.
did he?
Dude, does he have a point? No, when he said he did not have sex, you're like, wait a minute. maybe
Define,
he
yeah,
did.
now you have to say define sex because people play on words.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was a master manipulator with that, to where now the country was having a discussion. Is that sex? Like what? Yes, it is. But this man said, I did not have relations.
I didn't have any relations with that lady,
Yeah.
with Monica Lewinsky.
No, that's a good example. Yeah. I mean, you talk about gaslighting, man. That was a little bit of gaslighting, a lot of gaslighting.
But I do agree with what Joanne was saying. Like basically you not throwing everything out there, but giving a person an option to say whether or not they actually want to love you. Like you shouldn't be forced to love a person by coming with fake and false sense of you because you want to be with somebody or you're afraid to lose them. So you lie and act like this person that you're not. And then later on, you find out that they are not those people.
Yeah, then you gonna find out anyway. You can't hide who you are
get
really.
scared.
You really
Yeah,
can't.
eventually, yeah.
Yeah, you
have
Eventually,
to,
you're gonna
yeah,
slip
you-
up and do something or say something, and they be like, well, hold on for a second. Yeah, where did that come from? And then they gonna start saying, thinking you crazy. So there's something going on here. I'm seeing two personalities.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Mhm. I
Mm.
know that's right.
Yeah, so yeah.
So let's touch base on the wall part.
Oh, that was,
Oh, yeah.
well, she said the difference, right?
She said you cannot love with walls, but you can love with boundaries.
Mm,
Mhm.
mhm.
So do we believe that? Yeah. Yeah.
True.
And do we put up walls to keep people out?
We sure do.
Wait, the person you're in the relationship
Yes,
with,
we do.
you put a wall up your way, hold on.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
But
I'm
the
famous
wall
for the
only
wall.
goes up because you don't want to be honest with yourself, and you don't want to be honest with the individual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's when the wall goes up.
Mhm.
So when you would get the strength and you become to understand who you are, walls is just like the Marlboro he had on his shirt. You just walk through walls.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Well, can you, okay, I'll say this. I think I've put up, like, I was in a relationship and I was not trying, or I should say, the plan was, okay, I'm not married to this woman, so I probably shouldn't have sex with this woman.
Mhm.
But we never really discussed it. So next thing you know, when we compromise. So then in my head, I'm saying, yo, we have to have some, we need boundaries. She was saying it too, we need boundaries, but it was funny. So we're trying to have
After the
boundaries.
fact.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
we're both putting up
Yeah,
walls.
afterwards.
After the fact, y'all
They're
want
gonna
to
do some
Yeah, yeah,
boundaries
yeah.
afterwards.
Well, that's my point. I'm saying we had boundaries or try to have boundaries and walls. Like we had both. So that's why I was like, yo, this is jacked up.
Just not
Because
gonna
we weren't discussing
when
what
we
we need to
come back
discuss.
say, when
But
you
then when we compromise,
Boundaries and
we
walls.
want to talk about some boundary. Yeah, we need boundaries. I'm like, yo, now that I'm,
Boundaries
hindsight being
and walls.
2020
And walls, okay?
and walls, right?
So when I come here,
Listen, we had boundaries
here,
and
just make sure you put the wall up because I don't want to even look at you now at this point.
oh, we tried to have, I should say, we tried to have boundaries. We had walls. That was definite. But we try to have boundaries. And that was problematic. And listen, man.
Well, it would
that
become
was-
problematic because you already overstepped those
you
boundaries.
cross the line.
You already overstepped the boundaries and crossed the line. So it would become problematic at this point.
Oh, yeah. Well, right. But like we have been talking about, or for instance, one of the things she was talking about, because Jay was talking about that in the other video, how we medicate,
Yes.
how we self-medicate.
Yeah.
So one of the ways I self-medicated was, oh no, we can keep talking about some other stuff, trying to rid myself of the conversation I need to have by having other conversations. So that's what let me go talk to maybe you know. And so, like you said, and everybody's different. So I found myself doing that. I'm like, oh, Trey, that's I never thought that would be like a problem. Like talking, yes.
Yeah.
If you know yourself, then you see where it's a problem. It's like you see where the rhythm is disrupted,
Mm.
right? So, yeah, but that relationship falling apart was one of the best things that happened to me, because I was illuminated after that, and I was able to actually sit down and think through my emotions, what I was doing, what I wasn't doing, what I was afraid of, and what I was afraid to say. You know, it was funny. We would talk about things. So I'm like, okay, there are things that I'm not embarrassed to talk about.
Yeah.
But then I noticed, but see, you're still compromising because you need to talk about this other stuff with her,
Mhm.
but you're not. And so so somebody might say, well, how will you know? Listen, you're in your body, you know, when you
Yeah.
like, man, I didn't go far enough. You know it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I think that because we throw these walls up, we think that we can avoid what's actually going on with us instead of actually
Mhm.
addressing it. And it actually makes it worse because the wall basically, just like she was saying, a wall, yeah, we can throw a wall up, but guess what it does? It shuts out people as well. So things that God has even given to you, he's even trying to bless you with, it blocks those blessings as well because you have a wall up. Now, as far as the boundaries, yes, there are two different things. Boundaries are setting, basically say, okay, this is what my boundaries are. These are things that I don't want to do and I don't want to fall subject to as well. Doesn't mean that, sometimes we're not going to fall short because, sometimes experience is the best teacher. But going forward, we can learn how to hold the conversations, the real hard ones that we need to hold. Like, you know what? We shouldn't overstep those boundaries. So going forward, let's make sure that we have a clear understanding of what you and I should and should not be doing. You know what I mean? So
Unless you wreck stuff so bad, because
yeah,
sometimes in a relationship, even especially if you really understand that you two probably shouldn't be together, like
together.
the best thing you can do is like not or no longer pursue that type of relationship.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get so deep and that's another example. Maybe say you then get to a place where you guys are actually communicating, but you realize you're not compatible, but then you're afraid of that. Say, well, why not? They're so like, one of the gold nuggets that I pulled out of the failure was the value of actually trusting someone. Like, that was the weird thing. I trusted her and I found the value of trust, but everything else was not working. But I tried to lean on it because I found this beautiful thing. I'm like, wow, everything ain't about just like, I really trust her. Like, I always make the joke, like, man, I could like go to sleep, have my wallet open with like $5,000, man, not going to touch it. So, I mean, it was like a piece with that. But then there's other factors where it's just like, but Trey, you're not there. Not there because you don't even know where you are yet. What you guys were saying. And that was the other scary thing. Because I'm like, I don't know what I want. I mean, I like the fact that I'm in a relationship more than the relationship. Just the fact of it.
The
and
idea of it.
Yeah, the ideal of it. And those are things that as individuals, we have to be honest with ourselves about those type of things. Like somebody, you might be like, well, they're eye candy. Gotta be honest, man. You gotta be. So I learned that now. So now I don't want to say I don't care, but if you like tell me no, okay. I mean, I know. Now we can move on as opposed to holding stuff like I'm gonna wait for the right time because I'm not sure that. No, that's the risk. Relationship is risk. We have to take the risk because the reward is much better as opposed to just taking the easy route. Like I mean, well, let me ask you, what is it? Because somebody brought this up the other day, and I was like, I think this is a good question, especially all these women on the panel. What is the definition of a woman? What is a woman? Because we always hear this. You always hear that stuff about real man, this and that. So how are we defining a woman?
This is defined according to the word of God. That's where the foundation starts. And the more you stay in God's presence, we don't still to this day, like I think someone else said, we are forever knowing who we are. We forever being surprised of what we can do and what we can't do. So a woman is defined by the word of God. A man is defined by the word of God. And with that combination, we have free will.
Mm.
So with that free will, we have choices that we can make, be it be negative or positive. But the word said unstable man is unstable in all his ways.
Yeah.
So the foundation is draw nigh to God. That's the only way we can be successful and be in the image of his son. Not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but a woman's defined by her characters of how we was built and what we was created for. Yes, we are created to, first for ministry, to give back.
Mm.
That's what we are created for. The next thing will be, if we talk about relationships, and she said in the video as well, you don't want a husband that you want to tear down. You don't want a husband that you want to rip apart.
Mhm.
Our purpose, and some of us, some women still may be in that process, really understand what the word submit means.
Mm.
Submit is only, I am here to help you.
There you go.
And that's it. So a woman is defined, just like the word common sense, it's based on your culture.
Mm.
Because if I say something common sense, it may not be common sense to you. So the definition of woman may be based on culture as well.
Mm. Yeah.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Everybody's definition
A
of
woman.
just about everything now is you know, it's their own, I would say,
Mhm.
right? Because, you know, the world we live in, some of these women, you know, Jackie used to be Jack, but you can't tell Jackie that she's not a woman.
Exactly.
Well, Mary said, oh, I might
She said Jack used to be Jack.
Used to be Jack, yeah.
Used to be
Yeah.
Jack.
all
And,
right.
and
Hey,
so
Jose.
I agree with her. It's I
Oh,
don't know that there is any blanket definition
Mhm.
for any of that. Cause Trey, your dad is a man of God. That may be exactly what being a man is. That's what was represented to you, and that's what you take on, right? You have these kids out here in the street. Their daddies is kingpins, and
yeah.
until they get the kingpin status, they don't feel like they're men. So you know, my definition of it, and I loved what she just said, but you know, my definition of it, it's not the same as my 30-year-old.
Mm. Mm.
Well, according to definitions, because of gender and everything that's going on, they've given new definition to what a woman is.
Well, you know, again, that's subjective because how can somebody else define what being a woman is for me?
For
Because
you,
guess every woman can't, let me say this,
yes.
every female cannot have babies. And
That's
for some women, being a woman is represented through her ability to reproduce. And that is not going to be the same for everyone.
Well, I think okay, that's an interesting thing because Sister Pat just brought up the word gender. As history has gone on, we've done more classification. But if you go backwards, that's probably the question I asked is probably a bad question because it's like, why would you ask that? What do you mean? So it's almost
That was
like
my first one.
yeah, it's like that's not something you ask. What do you mean? What is a woman? She's right there. What is a man? He's right there. Now, what we've done is we started to stereotype, and we had talked about this a couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago, going back to Genesis 3:17.
Yeah.
Soon as Adam said, "Yo, it was this woman you gave me," so he started to classify and make lower. So then after that, that's what people started to do. They started to say a man is a man because he does this, a woman is a woman because she does that, or they're not a man or they're not a woman because of what they do or they don't do. Whereas I like what we said earlier about, or I think Mary said it, healing, it's a continuous thing. So being a woman is a continuous thing. Being a man is a continuous thing. You're still on that journey. You're still here. Now, everybody, has different like worldviews. Most of us on here have the biblical worldview. So we're like, okay, I know that I am a image bearer that happens to be a male. You guys are image bearers that happen to be females. Now, how the function that varies. I don't know what you're called to do or to pursue. But one thing is evident, right? In Genesis, if you just like look at it plainly, God makes this thing called humans. And then out of humans or mankind, he pulls two different types. Like that's right. That's just boom, like building blocks right there. Like there are two. I know people always read and say, oh, the woman came from the man. Yeah, but the man came from the mankind, because the scripture says two was from this one creation. So and I think we were talking about this before. If a man disrespects a woman, he's disrespecting himself. Same way if a woman disrespects a man, but we don't look at it like that, because we say someone is lower than. And then I'll say this last thing. So what the sister was saying about submitting, is funny how people, they read those passages, but they miss the part where scripture's saying the man's supposed to submit too. So I don't know, somewhere along the line, it was always just focused on women. Women need to learn how to submit. Well, you're reading partly, right? The man does too. And so that's work on both sides, because nobody wants to, in and of themselves, just submit, humble themselves. That's work. Like you said, that's emotional work. What you mean humble myself? Yeah, come on, man. Get it straight, get it right.
They don't understand that if you humble yourself before God, you can humble yourself before anybody. Because you can't see him, and you can get on your knees and you can pray to someone you can't see every night. You can stand in front of somebody and humble yourself.
Well, you
takes a
right,
whole
you
lot
should.
of-
It's yeah.
You should be. You should.
You should, yeah, should.
They should, but the word says pride.
Pride. There you go.
Pride, mhm.
Pride come before a
The
whole fall.
That means he get ready to tip you over, you don't get it
That's
together.
right.
Well, no, that's why he would say, how can you say you love me who you have not
And you
seen?
have,
Right.
Right.
and then
But
you
you-
hate your brother that you
you
see
hate-
every single day.
Exactly. You
But you
devalue.
tell your brother that you love him.
Right.
But even if you tell your brother, listen, we out here telling our brothers we love them and we hate them.
Right. Ain't that something?
You
Well,
know,
it goes back to the relationship thing.
Around Christmas
You
time.
coming in trying to show off in front
Right.
to impress
yeah,
the person you're on a date with.
Yeah.
So the same thing happens in the spiritual. You're trying to almost, in a sense, impress God. Oh, I love you, God. God, like, man, what you doing? You don't even love who I put around you
Mhm.
to help you. Oh, no, I ain't got, all I need is God. And God says, no. Babe,
Sorry.
listen, what did he tell? What did he say? What did he say to Adam? It's not good for him to be alone.
that's right.
Like it's right there. He said it.
Uh-huh.
He said, Madam, all you need is me.
And
Like,
animals.
man, nah, man.
Right,
You
right.
need a general, bro.
Mhm.
You need a leader.
You need a leader, bro.
I'm gonna pull that leader out of your wrist. Cause that's what you need, okay? Cause you
need a
can't do
leader,
this by
bro.
yourself. I already know right now.
That's good. Listen, and to what Mary said, man, wow, stuff to keep popping in my head. For instance, how we define women, and the church has been very culpable about this. For instance, a woman of God is a woman who finds a man and they have children. What if a woman can't have children? See,
Working on
now
women.
you
Oh, is that what's being said?
I'm gonna say,
Well-
what if she don't want any?
right, that too. That too. So the
Then there's
narrative
something
is,
wrong with her if she doesn't want any. That's now, see, that, yeah, people have a problem with that.
I mean,
When
not
a
really.
woman said it's not it's sort of, it's looked at as not being natural if you don't want to have a child.
Well, that's what society says.
That's what
Right,
society
absolutely. That's what
says, yeah.
society says.
Right.
Exactly, but that's not what it is that's what
Right.
society says.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And
Yeah.
and the whole concept of be fruitful and multiply, right? You have to look deeper. Because like you said, we have to look at the fact that some matter of fact, Sarah, right? Sarah was barren. So it's not this automatic thing that you're going to be able to. So that's not what defines womanhood. But the point I was going to make was, even if you're not married, there's still the fundamental idea that God placed that you need the opposite sex. See,
Yes.
we think we only need the opposite sex for marriage or
Mhm.
sex. No, fundamentally for
Marriage is only
life
for
here.
ministry.
There
Exactly.
you go.
That is what
There you
marriage,
go.
Exactly.
marriage is foundation based on ministry, kingdom building.
There you go.
All the other stuff is
Mhm.
just icing on the cake. But the
Mhm.
foundation of marriage is for kingdom building.
Building.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yep.
Building up his kingdom. There you go.
And that's it.
Mhm.
Wherever your ministry is, I support you. Wherever my ministry is, you support me. It is not about having children. It's about ministry and winning souls.
And
That is our
sometimes-
goal.
Go out into
and
the
our
community
purpose.
as
And
one.
that's
family,
why, that's
one-
why
one
people
home.
get it so mixed up and
Mhm.
think that when they read the scripture and it says be fruitful and multiply, we're supposed to be out here fruiting and
No.
multiplying babies.
No,
Ministry.
that's
Fruitful does not mean-
in
That doesn't
in
stop there. That means community. That
in
means
part.
everything you touch, you produce something.
right.
That's
And
what
You're
I
out
meant.
here, and that's what it is.
That's-
You're producing whatever's out here, your community. You are
And
reaching
you're
souls.
producing
Or- yeah,
the fruit that you're living out. That's your fruit.
right.
You're going out here and you're being a testimony, whether or not you are ministering to other people. That is your fruit.
Absolutely.
Bearing fruit. You're bearing his fruit.
Absolutely.
And it is one, I'll say like this too. It's if starting a family and having children and having legacy and all that, that's part of it.
Mhm.
That is part of it.
Uh,
But it's not all of it, because like you said, some people can't, or some people don't want to, right? So the deeper revelation is, no, go and be representatives of me so that we can gather more representatives. So
Yeah.
think about it. You have the Great Commission right there in Genesis. You have the shadow of it. Be fruitful and multiply. Wait, what's the purpose of that? So people can see these image bearers.
Yep.
And then they can, as we was talking about before, because we're all made in the image and likeness of God, but everybody does not want to bear the image.
right.
So you be fruitful. See, being fruitful and multiply means now you got people who want to represent. Oh, I want to rep. I want to rep. I want to rep. I want to rep. So for instance, if I say I didn't know you, Latrice, and I'm sharing the word with you, whatever, and you come to God. That's a man. Look, just for instance, there's a lot of things going on. That's a man and a woman functioning,
Mhm.
giving glory to God, right? That's another way of being fruitful and multiplying. And you didn't have to get married,
That's right.
Mhm.
right? So there's more than one way to worship, but everybody is stuck on what we've been taught,
Taught.
right? Especially with relationships.
Yeah.
Like
They
you-
just want to be fruitful. It's
Right.
easy.
Isn't there
Right.
a scripture in the Bible where he's basically telling the man that, or basically saying it's better not to marry,
Mhm.
because he needs you because you
Better not to marry
want you to be.
No,
um,
he said, you mean it's better to marry than to burn.
No, it's better to
No,
marry than to
it's one of
burn.
them.
The other one, she's talking about ministry
I'm
as,
talking about
about the
the-
ministry.
Oh, Paul,
aspect
yeah.
of it.
Paul said because
Right,
it would
Paul
take,
said
Mhm.
it would take away.
Right,
Yes,
it takes
But you-
away from you.
But you know, that was his,
that was his
that
call.
was his opinion.
Right.
That wasn't a command, because then that
Well, it
wouldn't,
wasn't a
then everything
command,
else
it
would be
was
jacked
what it-
up.
But I'm just
Yeah.
saying that,
Why you get married?
that is, you know, it's better that you be unmarried so that you could be more of a disciple or you know what I'm saying? Then when you're married, you have commitment to that other person. But
When you're unmarried, you
So
have.
do you, so do you,
God.
so do you think that?
don't you?
Huh?
Don't you have a commitment to that other person? Don't
No,
you
no,
have-
I'm saying, do you think that, do you think, you'll be better off if you weren't married, if you were single, living for God?
No.
It depends on the person's
It depends
calling.
on-
Right, it depends on the person, yeah.
And their
It
personal.
depends on their calling and what their ministry is.
Yeah, what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Because I know what my
Depends on what
ministry
God
is,
says that
but
they're
I
supposed
need
to be
help with
doing.
my ministry. I
Yeah.
need a male figure to help me with my ministry. That I do know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then that's true. That's true, because he might not have created you to be married. It's I mean, you know, God knows the desires of our hearts. A lot of us desire to be married. I truly believe it'll be fulfilled, you know, one day whenever God says, okay, you're ready, and this is the mate that I picked for you. You guys get together and you do what I called you both to do for my kingdom. It still goes back to his kingdom. You don't necessarily have to be. You can fulfill your mission, whoever
You do that
created you to
without-
be. You
without
can
a
do that singly. You don't.
Like Anna was an intercessor. She wasn't married.
Right.
Mhm.
Her,
Yeah, you don't have to be
her-
married.
that was her ministry to intercede.
Yeah.
Mm.
She was
Well,
an
see,
intercessor.
and Paul pretty much said that. He said, I would rather that you not, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, I
he's-
would rather that you're not.
Right,
Mhm.
right. So he's going on, obviously his experience is it's working for him.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah, I
was,
think
you know,
he meant like he was more focused.
right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah,
Now,
more
it's
focused.
funny, the like the thing nowadays, if someone's experience is like that and God is dealing with them and they're called to be single, the problem is they'll write a book, and when they write a book, they'll make it almost seem like, hey, if you really want to be, but like we just said, that's not everybody's situation. So don't, you know, put me in this place now to where like, especially someone that, you know, people may look up to, like, you know, one of these leaders or pastors that write something like that, where you like, oh man, like I know what's his face. Now he hasn't done this, so I'm not saying he's done this, but if like Noel Jones did that, because he's single, right?
No,
But he
not
wrote a
no
book.
more.
Oh, he got married?
He's married.
Oh
got
wow.
married.
Okay, Noel, I didn't get it.
Yeah,
Well, you
he
know, I
got-
haven't listened to him
he
like,
got
okay.
married.
He said,
Okay.
not no more.
He couldn't hold out.
What?
What?
He said he couldn't hold out.
Yeah, he's married.
He's
I
married.
didn't know that. Okay, wow. I haven't, you know what, I haven't listened to him in
In a
a long
while,
time,
right?
so I didn't know. Okay. No, that's
It
good.
was just recent, but he's married now.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm glad y'all keep up, because you know.
I didn't, yeah, I haven't, yeah, haven't been- but no, so no, I mean, but
Him and Sister Loretta been hanging on for a long time.
what's that?
Him and Miss Loretta.
Wait, who's Miss Loretta?
Mary said like she know him personal. That was cute.
I'm like, who's Loretta?
Oh, that's his wife. Oh, that's his wife's name.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's a
Mary.
Mary do know. I think Mary do know him.
Oh, okay. Ooh, okay.
I think.
A long
But no,
time.
I mean, yeah, that's a like you said, there's a lot of dynamics in terms of, like we said, with relationships and how people have, I don't know, there's been a lot of people who've been ostracized because they were single and weren't married, and then, you know, then rumors as well how come they ain't, but everyone else that like bum rushed the altar and got married quick, it was too quick. So
Yeah.
now you know, now you're like, well, yeah, we, you know, separated and things like that. So it's like I say, it's a work. It's like I say, it's a ministry, like real talk. And you have to invest
You gotta invest in that
in.
ministry. There you go. Invest. The word is invest.
And I'm only saying that because I'm like, Dag, I see how much you got to invest in just starting a relationship. I don't even know what marriage look like. I'm like, but if this is what relationship look like, woo,
Yes.
marriage, you gotta be.
Marriage is good.
And just
Yes.
think about it, you gotta go through the motions over and over and
Over
over
and over
again
again.
until your mate actually shows up. So meaning you gotta sit here and talk to this person, get to know them just to find out that they not it. You gotta keep going and go over and over again. And yeah, oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm a believer of like organic, like in my travels, in my work, if I meet someone, I feel like that as opposed to I'm not like actively, let me see. I think it's going to happen organically.
Oh, you ain't online?
No, I'm not doing She said
You ain't clicking the button.
Wait, hold
okay,
on.
I don't like this.
Hold on,
one.
wait, Erica. You not on Tinder?
Yeah, Tinder with the Tinder swindler.
Tinderoni? You ain't on Tinderoni?
You not on Tinder? No,
Okay.
no.
He a Tinder.
He
No,
not
you know, but
on-
I'll tell you what I do hate. And I'm not, this is a pet peeve of mine, and I'm not saying that this person's actually doing it, but it's somebody that I've been like running into recently, and she found out that I'm a Christian. And she says she is too, but I just hear like a lot of like, it's almost like, are you just saying church stuff around me to try to like impress me? It sounds like you're just trying to, oh yes, and oh God, and he was, I'm like,
You know what? If you picking up on that and you think that she's doing that, she probably is.
probably is, yeah. Like I need something, like you gotta hit me with a deep cut. I'm like, yo, wait a minute, whoa. What you read? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not some, you know.
That's God tapping you on your shoulder to say,
Oh, you look, how you doing today? You look blessed and highly favored. I'm like,
You gotta hit her
Really,
with
here's
that.
the question. Here's the question you would ask them. Number one, do they know who they are in Christ?
That's
Number
right.
two, do they know what their calling is? Number three, what is their ministry? And what is the process of them accomplishing their ministry? Because
I like that.
none of us can know what our ministry is unless we stay connected to God.
that's true. And then the thing about it is he doesn't reveal it all at once. So we still we're a work in progress. He can show us, he'll show us step by step by step. We really
That's
don't
right.
know.
But to
Yeah.
what Joanne said, a good way to start that process is the particular questions.
Mhm.
And see, certain things you can't fake the funk in terms of if I'm asking you something, you can't like surface way it out. Like, no, like, wait a minute, what you just said didn't make sense.
Mhm. Pinpoint what you want to know.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
And I say that because it was a learning process. When you go out to dinner, I'm done with eating. I eat for sometime before I even go out. Because what I want to know from this table, when I leave this table, is if we're gonna have another conversation.
Oh man, you hurting them. Okay, yes. She hurting them. Yes.
So I need to
It
know.
was nice not eating with you. I'm going to go home.
I might order something like.
That's not it. Wait a minute. You don't want to eat a little bit more? You asking too many questions.
Wait a minute. I'm going to order some water.
I order something real light. Prime example.
And some
I
French
did
fries.
go to lunch with a friend, and he's retired, and I asked the main questions that I need to know.
Water to go.
She said water to go.
The question was, I started a conversation of, so since you are retired, where have you been traveling to? He
Mhm.
said nowhere. That's a check.
Nowhere.
Wait,
Nowhere.
that's good. Wait, that's a good or a bad check? I'm not. Hold on.
A bad check.
That's a bad check.
That's a bad check.
Why?
You didn't tell me
Why
you
is that?
retired and we ain't doing nothing.
That means he in the
That
house.
was
Oh,
number
he ain't doing it.
one.
Okay.
What you think he in
Number
the house?
two.
Joanne, how you know he not in the house reading his Bible?
Number
No,
second
she's there
question.
Hey.
Second question. When you was working, what did you invest in?
Mm.
What did you walk away? What type of investment did you invest in?
Mhm.
I'm talking about finances, stocks, bonds, retirement plan, all that, pension. I need to know, what did you invest in? To see where the wisdom falls at and how you handle your finances.
Now, are you willing to answer those questions yourself? They're good questions.
Absolutely. That's why I know what I'm bringing to the table.
They're good questions.
Yeah, that's good.
They are good questions.
That's
This
good.
is what I'm bringing to the table. I'm not working my whole life to spend unless it's equal. But you're not spending my pension money.
Right, right. Girl, you sound like my nana. She be like, yeah, you ain't coming up in here. You ain't coming up in here.
Money.
At dinner, you ask important questions. It's time out for being cute. You ask important questions.
That's true.
We're adults now. We're not kids anymore.
That's
That's
good.
right.
That is good. I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
As a
Right,
man
because we listen,
thinketh,
real
so is
world,
he.
real
So is he.
situations.
yeah,
No,
absolutely.
as a man thinketh, so is he.
As a
There you
man
go.
thinketh, so is he. I am a
Absolutely.
daughter of the Most High God, and that's how you're going to treat me.
There you go.
Mhm. Absolutely. And if you
And
his
these are
son,
my
if you his son,
qualifications.
then you know how you're supposed to be treating. You know
Exactly.
what you're supposed to be doing.
So these
And
are
you know
questions
how I'm
you
supposed to
ask.
treat you.
Right. Absolutely. So that's for men too, not only women.
As
Ask
I
the
say,
question.
Trey, next time you go out to lunch, those are the questions you ask.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Deep
see, I'm
questions.
always, I'm
Not the
always,
surface. Go deep.
I don't do surface, not anymore. Because like you said, especially if someone intrigues me, I now need to like, wow, I
But
need
the
to
enemy
see.
knows what we like.
There you go.
Right,
There
right,
you go.
right.
That's exactly
No.
what we like.
Well, no, I'm glad you said that because so some of my questions now involve the things that I know I have to we talked about this last night out of Peter, where Peter was telling them to be like newborn infants.
Mhm.
And so that posture is need. Just
Mm.
like a baby needs, no question, no doubt, they need all. That's how I have to have. That's what my relationship towards God is. Man, I come needing everything. So with that, I know there's things I have to work on. So I like to ask questions to where, are you willing to work, or like you said, or is it just a surface? Like for instance, if just because a woman is in church and she's dressed up and she's sitting on the first pew, that's not impressive for me. Really not impressive. You didn't, matter of fact, you didn't do nothing. And I expect the same you. If you, no, I'm not doing nothing. Let's go to the real temple, right? We were in the temple, but we want to ask questions about the temple, right?
Yeah.
So I like what you said. I want to ask questions that really have us actually squirming a little bit, because I have to ask myself questions that make me squirm and be uncomfortable, but I know it's leading me towards more spiritual vibrance in God, right? So I expect the same, just like, and it's funny, I have my taste, but I now know it's tweaked because I used to be drawn to women who basically going to be like, yes, man. They're not going to challenge me anyway. Like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, okay, that's fine. You want to do it? No, I need the opposite. I think that's key too. You know what helps you.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to see that in the person you're in a relationship with. You want them to push you, not everything. Because see, that's when you start feeling like you king. When you just like, yo, I said it. All right, go ahead, do what you need to do. See, that's too much. If I'm in a relationship, that's too much me roaming, doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
If I'm with you, there is this link, right? On this level to where like, no, I'm, like some Bonnie, like really Bonnie and Clyde. Are we really in this? Or are we just fronting? Do we just look good for everybody and we take good pictures together? No, are we in it? The muck and the mire, right?
That's right.
The
Accountability
grind.
partners. You hold each other accountable.
Right. Hold each other, man.
Mhm.
And you got to see me at my ugliest. I see you at your ugliest. And we're not judging because we realize we're still working.
We fake it. to
Whereas
make
if you're not working and you
Mhm.
see the ugliest, I'm out of here. What? Ooh, I'm out of here. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
No, yeah, like you said, that's high school stuff.
Mhm.
And in high school stuff, it will still leave your stomach empty. Like I'm
Mhm,
still hungry.
mhm.
Like your appetite is on my appetite is different now. Whereas before I was just, I'll be satisfied with, oh yeah, you know, saying something that blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, man, got big appetite now.
Mhm,
I hope you got a
longer
big
satisfied
appetite,
with that.
you know?
Exactly.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's like you need more because you're not satisfied with
Yeah.
the results of this. Like at
Yeah.
the end of the day, only God can fill you.
Well, think about the way, like you said, the way we are created. Like fundamentally, we're
Mary.
created to
Night,
need.
Night, Mary.
Good
Oh,
night, Mary.
night, Mary. Phone dying. Yeah, we're
I told
created.
Peggy when we started, I had 20%. And these new phones come with a very short cord. So I would literally have to sit at the wall.
You doing like
It was nice meeting you.
You too. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Those questions is pretty good.
Yes. All
All
right.
right, y'all. Talk to
All right,
y'all
babe.
later.
Good night,
we
Mary.
check you on the
Good
flip,
night.
Mary. We check you.
Yeah. I
But
know
yeah,
that.
so I was saying we're created to be filled by God.
Mhm.
So when you're not, guess what? You have a God-sized hole walking around. I mean, that's so you're always unsatisfied. That's why you're constantly running to this and that because you're trying to fill it up. But what the aspect of, and it's funny, once again, go back to Genesis. It's not good for man to be alone. So then Eve is made manifest. She was already there because he had already created them. But
Yeah.
now, and you know, that's like I said, that's a mystery in and of itself. But on that level, if you're in a relationship, you have to really be in a relationship because she is you. She's been pulled from you. So for you to not, it's yeah, like I said, it leaves you empty. So I now, like you said, I now realize, no, if I'm gonna eat, I want to eat for real. I mean, don't be playing around with me and want to take me to McDonald's. Yo, we gonna go eat. We gotta eat. We
Soon
have
as
to eat.
Listen, as soon as they say McDonald's, I'm saying, oh no.
Yeah.
You're not for me. I don't.
Well, listen,
I don't do
McDonald's and just use for example, McDonald's or fast food and Chinese food. I used to always find it like whenever I ate it, an hour later,
It made
it
you
was almost
feel
like I
feel
didn't.
hungry.
Yeah. So when we're
Yes.
in these relationships that are just surface, that's what happens. You're like, how come I'm not getting nothing out of it? You know what? I don't want to leave him because the sex ain't good no more. See,
that's
you're
when cheating come in because of the fact you're not getting everything that you thought you was going to get.
I wanna
When
get.
you went in with wrong intentions or the other party came in wrong intention and nobody's happy.
Yeah.
So now there's no boundaries because everybody go for the gusto. They on your own.
Yeah.
Long as you don't find out.
Long as, yep,
Yeah, but eventually.
you will.
Yeah,
what's gonna-
eventually, but that's how cheating starts
That's
because of
gonna come.
good. And we shortchange ourselves by compromising, knowing that, and sometimes we even know that the person cheating, but we don't care, just so we won't be by ourselves.
man,
And the thing
man.
now, see, the thing about that
And
is,
that's
the thing we
compromise.
don't forget is, we don't remember is that we are not by ourselves.
Yeah.
We might not have a partner that lives in a home with us, but as long as you're in relationship and you fellowship with like-minded people, you're never alone. He's not gonna have you alone. You're never there. There's always somebody within reach.
But you have to get past your emotions first to get to that level.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. And many of
Right.
people are not there. That's true.
No, that's a
Yeah.
good point. So
Yeah.
if you begin to value, like part of my testimony is being able to start to see women differently. Like I remember before it was like, if the only way I'm talking to a woman is if we're in some type of like intimate relationship. But I remember someone had told me one time, like, oh, I'm not gonna say her name, everybody know her, you know? But she said to me, she's like, Trey, you need to learn how to be friends. And it's that concept, when she first said it, she dropped it in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, this is what I thought. I didn't say it out loud. I'm like, it's the dumbest thing I heard in my life. Right? Because we kind of grew up,
You're
like
not
no one
taught that.
directly told us this, but we kind of grew up to where, like, you know, the guys and all that, no guys were just hanging with girls, or if you were, we were like, yeah, you know, we would say, you know, a little funny or something like that. But I started to see the actual value. You know what helped me? In the Proverbs, when it talks about wisdom, and it personifies wisdom as this woman that is
A
going
woman.
through the streets. And I believe, like, the Spirit of God spoke to me, like, Trey, you need to listen to women. Listen to women more. And I remember I was doing that, and I was getting, like, man, like Deacon Bennett said, I was getting good nuggets. Like, just from listening to what, okay. And so I started to value, or I started to see what it meant to actually have a woman as a friend, to what Erica was saying. So so when you think, oh, I'm not satisfied. No, if you broaden your understanding, oh man, there's much more to enjoy. But if it's just this small window of, I need this, if this don't happen, no. Broaden your understanding. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Now I'm
I
glad.
have found that a
I'm glad
guy
you
who
said
has guys who have sisters, because some guys know how to do a lot. Like they know how to do girls' hair and everything. And I remember my college boyfriend, he'd be like, I can help you do your hair. And he would blow dry my hair. And I got a sister. But if you got a sister, you can do different things. And it, like, if you don't have no brothers and you just got sisters, you're more sensitive to women's needs and the things that they go through. You know what they go through because there were women all in the house and you had to help them or deal with things. You might have had to go to the store and get supplies for them and all kind of things like that. So you kind of have a better grasp of what women's emotions and needs are, I found.
I must have been a late bloomer then, because it's so many women in our family. I skipped past all that. We were like, me and my brother we were doing our own thing, man. But it was a lot of it. I mean, yeah, a lot of
right,
women.
because you had a brother. If you didn't have a brother and all you had were sisters, you'd be a little more sensitive to girls because that's all you would be around. You had a brother, so you escaped and you went with your brother.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have that brother, you would have been closer to your sisters.
Well, I mean, I'm close to my
I mean,
sister.
not that you were not close to them, but
Yeah.
it would have been maybe a slightly different
Maybe a
relationship.
different perspective, perhaps.
Yeah, different
I get that.
point of view. Yeah.
Because like I said, I like you said, you guys were already doing it from the jump. Like, girls had no problem being friends with guys, but the guys was confused because, like, oh, she must like me because she's always talking to me. No, she thinks you're cool.
Sometimes.
You don't. Sometimes.
But what's so interesting?
What the heck? Hold on, man.
So she get ready. No, Joanne get ready to go where I was getting ready to go.
Oh, so
Innately, we were created to be in relationship. Innately, that's innate. That is natural. So when you have a man and a woman, and I think we spoke about this before a long time ago, is that one of y'all catch feelings. Somebody will catch them.
Absolutely. It's
It's because it's natural. It's not that you're trying to, but the more that you emotionally connect and you sit there and talk about your dreams and your aspirations and you see each other every day, somebody is going to like.
Somebody gonna catch a feel.
Yeah,
and it's true.
That's true.
And
That
that's
is
true.
true.
Yeah.
That's
You
true.
have
A
to
lot of
That's when
marriages
the
say
boundaries
they've been
come
friends
in.
for years before they decided to date. Yeah, so that happens.
Wait a minute, what you say, Tisha?
I said a lot of couples say that they've been friends for years before they started dating. You know, I know a couple now, they were working together and they were best friends for like 5 years. And then something changed and they wanted to date. but it was a small organization and they didn't want to date, like, you know, they didn't want to cross the boundaries of dating a coworker. So the guy left the job. He quit the job. He got a different job so he could date the girl that he was best friends with for like 4 or 5 years. And they're married now with children. So it was interesting. But yeah, a lot of couples are friends for years before that thing changes and they decide they want to date. And I always think of the movie When Harry Met Sally, because I love that movie. And they were friends for years before they decided to admit that they really were in love with each other.
That's Latrice, that's a good
Latrice
question.
she put something in the chat.
That's a good
So
question.
you should not have any friends outside of the marriage.
No,
is
you
that-
shouldn't.
That's not true.
I can't.
No, if you are mature and you can handle
That's
being a
fine.
friend,
Oh, I think
Like-
you mean opposite sex friends? Is that what you mean?
Opposite sex friends. Mhm.
That's not true.
Because I work with, this is what I'm saying. I work with people who I am friends with. And I also, like, you know, we can, like,
if you're attracted to them, no.
no, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. No, not attracted to them. But these are people that I work with. These are friends that, you know, I
I
had
think it could
outside
work.
of, I think people outside of just the marriage. Like I have never not had friends. Do you understand what
I
I'm saying?
think it could work, but I think the scope of your friendship has to change.
That's really
But
Because I know
listen, but
my
listen,
daughters.
Erica, my
Mhm.
husband has never not had friends.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He has friends outside of this marriage, not just males, but he also has females.
Mhm.
I have friends outside of this marriage, not just males, but also not just females, but also males.
Mhm.
So, but these are individuals that not necessarily people that were around before our marriage. You understand what I'm saying? These were people that came after the marriage. These are
Mhm.
people that I adapted relationships with through working relationships, working
My
partnerships.
definition of friends is might be different. Because friends are people you talk to, like dreams, aspirations, the same you would talk to just about like with your spouse who you're supposed to be one with, and you talk about dreams after. To me, friends are that on that level as well, that you talk about personal business too and all that other stuff. That's emotional connection. And anybody who you connect with emotionally can
You should
possibly go there. That's a higher level.
Yeah.
When you deal with emotions. So you have to definitely be more
Right.
mature. You have to be very careful about what you share, how much time you spend together
There you
as
go.
well. Y'all
So,
can't be on the phone
here's
every
the
time you
point.
look, because you
So
got to
that's
run and
the
tell this
point.
person that, this, that, and the other.
Yes.
Not
So
all
that's
the
the
time.
point. First and foremost, you need to be mature enough to know when to actually hold a conversation and what not to talk to that person about. So
Absolutely,
the stuff that I talk to my husband about, I should not be talking to my friends about.
absolutely.
So that's the difference. And you know, that's why, yes, if you have a friendship and you're around your friends or whatever the situation is, it's no different than my girlfriends. I can't tell my girlfriends everything that I tell my husband, because at the end of the day, my girlfriends are not married. They don't know what it is to be in a marriage. You understand what I'm saying? So now you have to consider that. You know, everybody's not going to be able to give you the best advice. And that's why you have to have a restraint with your mouth there as well. So, you know, but again, my male friends, these are people that, you know, we adapt close relationships, but we adapt that relationship through working partnerships. Things like, okay, you know, I got gigs for you. Not only that, but I also have, I can probably get you to a speaking event, you know, stuff of that
Oh,
nature.
that's like a business
So
relationship.
like we're like business,
Uh-huh.
business relationships, but
Mhm.
they have adapted to, you know, hey, one of my sisters is out here, you know, they feel like they need someone to hold a conversation with, yada, 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 things of that nature. But no, nobody's calling me at 11, 12 o'clock. Nobody is saying, hey, you know, I'm just confused. I need you to talk to. No, that's not That's not what they do.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's a totally different friendship.
Right.
That's
And see,
one
that's why I
where,
said definitions of friendships are different for me. Now, I would call that an associate and not a friend.
Now
me,
that
that's
came up
different.
over lunch as well.
Say it again.
because That came up at lunch as well, because the occupation that my friend's in, he's a photographer and he takes beautiful pictures of beautiful women.
Mhm.
yeah,
So what my conversation with him over lunch was, if I was to come to you, and this was my question, if I was to come to you to tell you what I am picking up in the spirit about any women, will you dismiss what I'm saying to you or do your own thing?
That's a good question.
That is a good question,
real good question.
because if y'all gonna be together, he has to honor what you say.
Women, and after he answered my question, and I explained why I asked the question, women know women.
Yep.
They do.
Women knows right motives, women knows wrong
Sure
motives.
Wrong motives.
That's just like men
So-
know men.
Yep,
If
And
your
if we
husband
were
comes
to
to you
get
and say,
married-
I don't want this man around me
Exactly.
anymore, you got to honor your husband and say, okay, sorry, we can't, not anymore.
Yep, even when it comes to counseling,
Yep.
I feel strong that if, not that I won't trust my husband counseling, but I prefer, I do the women. He may consider independent what crisis she's going through, but my husband, we would discuss that. You do the men, I do the
I
women.
do women. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So if I say something to you about a woman, don't dismiss what I'm bringing to you, and don't dismiss my feelings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that was a conversation that I had with someone, and they understood where I was coming from.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Because there's been so many best girlfriends that's hanging around relationships. Next thing you know, the husband and the girlfriend, they
They
together.
end up with your husband.
Yeah,
End up with
so
your
you gotta be very careful. You gotta be.
Trey, what are you thinking
extremely
about?
careful. Mhm.
Trey.
I see
Tracy's
you
over there, he
thinking,
like, I
what's
just
going
don't know
on?
what to say, where to start.
No, it's funny. I think it's right. It depends on your situation. Like I mean, she still is, I consider her my best friend, but she got married. Now, since she's been married, and now she has 3 kids. Oh, last night, remember the photo picture I was showing you guys? You probably didn't pay attention.
Yeah, I saw
Oh,
it.
the woman on the end with her
Woman
husband
on
and
the
3
end.
kids. Yeah,
Oh,
her.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, man, listen, that's my dog, man. But ever since she got married, the relationship shifted. No, she's still my best friend. I feel like I could call her anytime, likewise, but we don't, there's no frequency because she has a family.
Yeah.
I still, like I said, I still love her with all my heart. She still loves me, but like I said, it's like Joanne was saying, it has to be a maturity. It can't just be a flippant thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my friend. Now there was a period where I won't put her business out, but she, they were going through some things. And so we were talking a little bit more, but like I said, we are in communication. So remember one time I'm talking to her and I said, I got to bring this out right now. I said, okay, a fear that's coming up in my mind, or I'm thinking about, is how much we're talking about certain things, right? She brought up the same thing. So to what you guys were saying, it's not about perfect, but it's about being in constant communication. Like to what Joanne said. Now I noticed she didn't say, okay, you got 100% every time I say, I have a discernment. You have to go with it. But she's saying, respect it. So by respecting it, that means you now need to pay attention. And
Right.
don't be dumb, because if you pay attention, you will see
Mhm.
if this is true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like I went to my dad one time for advice, because I was in a relationship. I'm like, man, the same woman, the older woman. I said, how should I approach this? So he gave me the best advice in under 30 seconds. He said, be prayerful and observant. And it's funny, as soon as he said that, it was like my eyes opened up. And I wasn't trying, but it was just happening, where now I'm paying attention to her and me. And I was like, nah, I think I just love the idea. And I started to see more and more. That's all it is, Trey.
Yeah.
So to go further, to continue, would be fraudulent. So let people be mad now. And he was mad. It was a big issue. But like I said, I think it's an individual based thing, because that's a like you said, that's an interesting thing to have if you're married and you have a friend that's the opposite sex. How is that handled? I believe it's viable. I believe it can happen, but I believe too many people don't pay attention to it. That's why they got all these friends around them and things happen. So they're not actually being good stewards or paying attention. And like you said, all it takes, because we're human, all it takes is a little this, little that. Somebody, he got mad. Well, listen, good, come on over. I know he be acting up. No, see, you set yourself up. It's like, remember Tyrese and Baby Boy. I remember that scene when he went to the woman's house, and I kept saying he was good while he was outside.
Yeah.
If he stayed outside, but as soon as you went in, it didn't matter. You crossed the line. I'm not saying you couldn't leave, but you now went in deeper. So now the thing that's drawing you, now it's tougher to pull away from.
Yeah.
So that's not what we have to be careful with. So when you get a sense, you got to have those conversations. You got to be honest with yourself. Oh, was I flirting with her?
Go ahead, Erica.
Okay, I'm just going to do real quick. There is a coach that I watch, and he said, now from what I listened to his background, well, his name is Tony Gaskins Jr. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him or
I
not.
think so.
I think I've heard him.
He said, now he explained his background. He was a womanizer. Before he got married, he was a womanizer. He slept with over 100 something women before he even reached his early 20s. Now, he explained he done been on Oprah, all this stuff. He done explained all this stuff. He said him and his wife, neither one of them got opposite sex friends. And he said that is on purpose. And he said the reason being is that he said, I'm a man. He said, I know how men think.
Yeah.
And my wife is a woman. She know how women think. And he said that men who stay friends with women, there is a reason for that.
Absolutely.
He said they are waiting in the wings for their chance.
Their chance.
Just in case that marriage slip up, he is right there to catch her. He's right there. He right there to catch the one. He waiting, and vice versa.
Yeah.
He said his wife's, not even her sisters, call him if they want him to do a favor for them. Their brother-in-law, they go through the wife. She talks to him, and then they work that out. She said, because my wife know how women are.
Yeah.
And he said they don't play that. They don't want anything entering into that relationship.
Oh, good. Go ahead, Alicia.
Oh, Miss Cubby is coming on.
I couldn't wait to get off of work. Okay, now I have a male best friend. We have been friends for over 20 years. My husband knew about him before I even met him. He's still in the picture, and my husband is long gone now. Thank you, Jesus. We never crossed the line. Never crossed the line. And he tells me everything. I tell him most of everything. But we already know. But like I said, we never crossed the line. And we've been friends for a long time. And we talk basically every day, at least 8-9 times a day. We call each other every morning at 6:30. We talk every and everything.
You said you made.
Well, have you ever been attractive to him? I'm sorry.
You said your husband is long gone. Did he pass away?
No. I'm the picture. Yeah, I'm the picture.
Oh, he's out of the picture now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But have you ever been attractive to him?
No. We
Your
So
always-
what's the difference?
Your
Uh,
friend.
Yeah, we always, I think you can be friends without, I wouldn't even cross the line because I wouldn't want our friendship to, even if we got together and then it didn't last, I wouldn't want our friendship to end. So we never even crossed that line.
Have you ever talked about, what would it look like if you went past friendship?
No,
Okay.
no.
And listen, being attracted to someone and finding someone attractive is two different things also.
That
Yes,
is true.
Because you gotta be honest, you're a human. If you see
Yes.
somebody, wow, they're attractive,
yes.
yeah.
That's
He's
true.
attractive, but like I said, our friendship, I value our friendship more
There you
than
go. I like
even
that. I like
to
that.
even cross the line.
I like
Okay.
that.
Mm.
Listen, that's what I found because my best friend, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say this, I was attracted to her, but she got married. And because I love her so much, I don't want to do anything to ruin what
Yes,
she has.
friendship, yes.
She has kids. She has a husband. Regardless if he's wilding out or not, that's none of my business.
Yeah.
But I can't
What if-
interject.
So
Yeah.
what if her husband was wilding out and then, something happens and she comes, calling you saying, Trey, I've been going through X, Y, and Z. Do you still not want to step over that boundary and cross that line because, she's still your friend?
No, well, I mean, there's been no, that's a good question. There's been scenarios where, like I said, they've had some trouble, but I never viewed it as, oh, this is my chance.
Opportunity.
Because guess what?
Okay.
My chance, that's over. The past is the past. It didn't, what could have been, didn't. So no, I don't view it as, and if I felt like, well, I'll say this. I know there's been situations where I knew like, oh, she's vulnerable. But like I said, that's my friend. And it's so strange. It's not strange now.
Right,
In the
maturity.
beginning it was.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love her. And I don't want to see her hurt. So that would be me hurting her.
Yeah.
Right. So
And taking advantage.
and taking advantage. And there's no value to that.
Mhm.
So that's why I'll say to somebody, I think you can legitimately be friends. Now I've seen a lot of examples where it don't work, so you could kind of be jaded, but no, it can happen. It really can happen, but it's not like a Facebook friends thing. You listen, you can't have no 30, like you can't have no 30 women that's like, yo, they my best friend. You do like, no, that's kind of like, really? What's the purpose?
Yeah.
What's going on here? So I do believe it, but it's a question of how good of a steward are you with these friendships, if they are friendships.
Like Joanne said, maturity. You got, see, a lot of people don't have that level of maturity.
Well, like the sister said earlier, you gotta go through them hiccups. Them hiccups help. See, that's a lot of time people don't want to talk about that too. They want to act like they just arrived.
Right.
It's like if somebody say to you, yeah, you want to go on a date. Yeah, me and my husband would love to go with you.
Right, there you go. Absolutely.
Well, see, listen, women, y'all get that more than guys anyway, where somebody gonna hit, like guys don't get hit on as frequent as women. Even married women, somebody will say something.
Sorry, Trey. Don't recant that, sweetheart.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
they
you.
do.
Thank you. Yes, they
Yes,
do.
they do.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
What,
they
guys?
do.
Women
Yes.
are throwing themselves left and right at men every day.
At married men. At
Every
married
day.
men.
But no, it's not frequent as a guy.
Yes,
If
it
a
is.
woman,
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it
wait a
is.
minute, I'm okay. Well, guys, I guess it ain't happened to me.
Yes, they do.
Listen, I'm a married woman.
Yes, they do.
And I know that women are frequently throwing
Yes.
themselves at
So
my.
okay, this is what I'm saying. Okay, let me go.
Yes, they do.
Let me back up a little
And
bit.
I was married also.
Women
and I
get
had
more
somebody did it in
stares
front of
every
my
day
face.
than men.
Okay.
Gawked, eyes.
Say what?
More than,
He said women get more stares than men do.
yeah.
No.
I
Women
think
do
it's
that
an
too.
equal amount. It's like an equal
It's
amount.
an, I'm
It's an
telling you,
equal
and I
amount?
think nowadays, I think women are so desperate that I think men get
Women,
fixed after more
women
than
has
women
became
do.
aggressors.
Men
Yeah.
are now looking to be, they're the prize. Men see themselves as
Um,
prizes now, so the women are just throwing themselves at these men.
Say it again, Joanne.
Women that, well, and according to society, what you see and hear, women have become the aggressors.
Thank you.
Women
Yep.
are
I mean, it happens. I'm not saying it don't happen, but I'm just saying generally.
No, generally,
saying
yes.
generally
Women,
by
yes.
what you see.
No,
But you saying generally by what you see.
I mean, all right, I'm just saying as a man.
Jenny,
my
you try,
experience,
I
I don't
can't
see,
believe
well, okay, give me, I mean, because you guys, you must be talking about, yo, let me get your number and all that type of stuff, right? Or no?
We
I'm
know
That's what
look,
guys
looks,
do. That's what I'm
looks,
saying.
and all of
I'm
that.
talking
saying-
about, I'm talking about
Everything.
women.
Sweatsuit season. We talking
What you
about
said?
gray sweatsuit season. Like y'all got the women with the sundresses, the ladies got the men with the gray sweatsuits now. We also have women, just like Tringy said, just throwing themselves at married men, or even if they don't even know they married. Because a lot of people didn't even know my husband was married because he never wore a ring.
Mm.
Never.
And my husband, and
Yeah.
let me explain something to you. My husband wear a ring every single day.
Mm-hmm.
They
And,
don't care. Women don't
and
care.
they do not care.
They don't
They do
care.
not care.
Right in front of your face.
Well, no, that's new to me. I mean,
Hey. Okay.
I know, I'm just saying, I didn't know guys was getting hit on. You're saying as much as women get hit on.
Yes,
Oh,
you
yeah.
got women are in they in the DMs and everything.
Yeah.
My cousin, I just had a conversation with my cousin, my older cousin, and he said women is just throwing them in his DM. He just set up an IG account, and he said he got multiple women coming after him on a daily basis. They messaging him, and I'm like, what? He said, yes, they are. They coming after men like nobody's business. Daily. Okay. With Trey
Is that- What?
Trey, like, I can't believe it.
It's very true.
I
Yeah,
can't
it's
believe
true.
it. I mean,
It's
listen,
true.
no, like I said, I know there's people who I know like me, but I mean, I guess I didn't think about that.
Mhm.
They be sliding in your DMs too.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
No, yeah, it's been some.
See?
But I mean, I guess, I guess I just wasn't thinking about it. I was just thinking like, oh, she likes me.
She
So I
just
didn't-
being nice. Yeah.
No, I know when somebody, you know what I mean? I know when somebody taking a shot.
Uh-huh.
I just
Everybody be shooting their shot.
Yeah, the women, and I kid you not. If
so it'll be a
you,
shootout.
I'm telling you, you
Be a
gotta
shootout.
watch. I'm telling you, you gotta sit here, and I listen to a lot of these men on the podcast, and these men who are doing the coaching podcasts, the relationships and stuff like that. If you listen to some most of them are sound, and I follow them for a while. If you listen to their conversations, they'll tell you what's going on because that's all they do. And they said they get questions from women, should I shoot my shot? Women out here shooting their shot, and they're telling them stop doing that. You know what I mean? It's a hot mess. It's a
Well,
hot.
they out here
I
getting
hear
them.
from my brother. I hear from
they
my
say?
cousins. They in
You know-
airports. And wait a minute, I'll tell you this one. This one of my cousins was in an airport traveling. You know how you got to give all your credentials, like your phone number, address, and all that to make, airline ticket or whatever. This woman from the airline, a couple of days later, called him on his cell to talk to him, telling she was available. I'm a mother of this, just after him shooting her shot. And he thought it was nothing wrong with it. I said, now think about this. I said, that was desperation. It's not that she thought that you was super this, super cute and all this other stuff. I said, that was desperation. I said, think about what she did.
Yeah.
She jeopardized her job, the
Yeah.
job that's going to pay her bills, to get your phone number out of confidential records that she was only supposed to use for business purposes to call you to shoot her shot.
Listen, hit and run. People like it's a good
This
point.
is how deep it's
People don't
getting.
mind hit and runs. And I do, you know what, I do agree with that. There are there are
Okay.
a lot of women now that are doing like with guys, you know, they used to say you know, hit it and quit it, right? Stuff like that. But a lot of women are doing that because, and it's funny, both sexes are disrespecting the dignity of the other one so much so they were like, look, I'm just trying to get mine. And then
Right,
they're out.
right.
So they're not even thinking about like, yo, I didn't care. I just needed to do it. So once again, going back to what Jay and then Brittany was saying, we're trying to, people don't think they're medicating, but that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing.
They're hocked up on pills
Yep.
from that perspective where, okay, I just gotta be with somebody. That's why you might go out to if you go out to the club or the bar, you know, oh, I'm trying to see something. And that's it. You really like, listen, I ain't trying to be talking. What you doing? Why you, then don't be calling me that. And so why is that? Because go back to what I said earlier. You were made to be filled by God. So when you're not in that pursuit, these other things kind of make sense because you're hungry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so you're trying to, and even I forgot what verse it is exactly. After Adam and Eve fell, God said, you will desire your husband and he will rule over you.
Mhm.
Both of those things are in the negative.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So both are plotting. She's plotting, he's ruling bad. Now she coming back, and now you're like, oh, so is this back and forth?
Mhm.
So now we got this back and forth. So
Mhm.
now if somebody playing somebody, like, you know, you got somebody to play her, yo, I ain't trying, I'm gonna get her before she get me. And then she's saying the
Mhm.
same thing.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm gonna get him.
Mhm.
So now we having this like a different type of warfare.
Mhm.
Like, wow.
Women against
Especially by
men.
what they may have
Right.
seen.
And it's
growing
often
up.
you hurt, right? So you
Mhm.
have trauma, you've been triggered, so you're hurt. So you're like, listen, I'm trying to go in for the good stuff. I don't need the negative stuff, so I'm out. So you just want the sex, but then you leave because you're like, I got wounds. So I think this will heal them, or maybe momentarily, or I know they won't, but so it's just
That's the
all
kill
of
momentarily. So now you got to keep going back.
you have to. You have to.
Yep.
You have to. So
It's a
you gotta
vicious
gotta
cycle.
change your diet.
Mhm.
You gotta
Change-
work on your diet.
It's too much
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
You see,
it
that's
is.
too much work. It's not easy. We don't want to do what's
No, it ain't, because
yeah.
I'm gonna keep
I mean,
using
we don't want to do the
reference.
hard work.
You in the mall and you walk by the food court and you're all them things are getting up in your nose, and you're like, yo,
Yeah.
I was changing my diet.
Yeah.
So unless you're going to be a monk and go move up to a mountain somewhere and not deal with people, like somebody just said something about the summer coming, summer dresses, like,
Oh,
so
that's
all,
right. It's gonna be
listen,
hot. It's gonna be
right,
skin out.
it's real. So if you're not real about that, then you're gonna act like you all surprised. Oh man, I didn't. No, I'm be real about it right now.
That's right.
I have to seek the Most High, because June, July, August is a problem. Too
Right.
hot, like, yo, y'all,
It's too
Right.
hot for clothes.
right? And see, this the part too. I'm learning. I can't blame the women. I ain't blaming the women. No, I have to be self-control. You go, man, if she didn't, no, guess what? Because back in the day when they didn't have sundresses,
We gotta
they
have
still found a
self-control,
way.
too.
Right.
It's not just on y'all, because no, it's not
No,
just
that's
on
true.
y'all.
But I
Women
can
gotta
only
have
be accountable for my
self-control as
end.
well.
Right.
We
Right.
gotta, yeah, because we can't be, and the thing about it is everybody gotta hold each
Coming
other
up.
accountable for that stuff. We can't sit up here and dress all sorts of way and then wonder why somebody
They
wants
looking
that's
at us
all
the
they
way they
want.
looking at us.
Well, no,
You
I'm
know-
gonna say
you know
this.
better.
I'm gonna say this. Now, listen, I'm not promoting this, and I'm not saying you should do it, but it's interesting how other countries don't have this taboo thing about like nudity. For instance, we've demonized it so,
Mm.
and not seen it for the beauty in its proper place, that whenever it's displayed, we're fearful and this and that. So that pushes a curiosity, whereas other people are free. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a good example. The families will openly talk about sexuality with their kids. In a typical Black family, no, you're not. not especially a African-American church type family. No, because what do I say? All they say is don't do this, don't do that. You don't have a frank, actual, continual conversation with your kids. So guess what happens? The taboo just gets
Teresa, cover yourself with
Cover
the
yourself
leaves.
with
The leaves like Adam did. when he-
right. And that's listen, and they think they're doing something when they say that.
Yeah.
No, you need to have, and not one conversation, one time. I talk to them about, no, you, as they're growing, talk to them, continue to talk to them, see what they're thinking. Because if you don't make it hidden, guess what? It won't be hidden. And then they won't, you know, because there's something about things that are hidden and in the dark that draw us.
Curiosity.
Curiosity.
Curiosity, yeah.
Curiosity.
Right, right.
When they listen, we think that first and foremost, we think that with a lot of children, we think that they don't hear things, they don't see things, they're
They
not
see a lot
hearing it
more
in
today.
school. They're here, listen, they're hearing it in school, they're talking about it in school, they're doing it in school. So my thing is that all of this stuff is going on outside of your four walls. And that's why you should be holding a conversation, because you don't want them experiencing these things out of these four walls. You want them to understand what it looks like, okay, you know, the type of relationship and how to carry yourself and things you're going through. This little girl right here.
I see her. Yeah, I see her over there.
What
Hey,
is-
little one.
She tried to hide. She was like, oh
Kinda
wait,
hiding her
you see
head all
me?
sticking out the camera, like we couldn't see her. Hey.
What's up, little prophetess?
And she must have been spraying a bunch of body spray on her body.
She
Oh,
smelling
wow.
good.
Well, I smell it. I smell it too, man.
She smelling good.
Smelling like vanilla and roses.
All right now,
Goodness.
smelling good. She's smelling good going to bed. I know that's right.
Like, mommy, I'm fresh.
But
But
no,
no, I mean, I
those
think
conversations, we have to.
I think that's key.
Oh, look at
Look at the little baby boo.
Look at him.
Getting all big.
He like, man, if y'all don't put me to bed,
He probably was sleeping. Tisha woke him up.
Uh-huh.
that's why he looking at her.
He about to stretch out. Look at him. Uh-oh. He said, this is too much going on. I want to go to bed.
What's up, dude?
Look at him. He getting big.
He getting real big. He look like his
Man.
mom. Look like
Looks like he about to, oh, he don't like that. He's stretching out. He want to sit up.
He like, why didn't y'all put me on at 7
Look at
7
him.
o'clock
He
when it first
Oh,
came
he
on?
is stretching out like nobody's business. He don't like that position. He wants to sit up or stand up, probably.
But yeah, I mean, it, like you said, Latrice, it's once again communication. We have to, we can't be afraid to engage and have these conversations. But when you do, like you said, it just makes it like I said, it makes it grow in the darkness or in the ignorance.
yeah.
I mean, listen, there's things that like I said, growing up in church, being the PK, some things they just, no, you're almost like, we're not talking about that. Well, all that did was make the boys say, well, okay, what's behind the curtain?
What y'all have?
Right.
Not.
What
What y'all
y'all
doing?
And this is another thing. Just like how we think that, oh, you got too many internet stuff around here for these kids not to be knowing about pornography.
Too many
You know
internet
what I'm
stuff.
saying?
Right.
And
Yeah.
this is another thing that it's like, oh, taboo. We better not talk about that.
You better talk
Now
about it.
we talk about X, Y, and Z, but no, you better talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, they're gonna be in their laptops and their devices scrolling, looking at things, and then all of a sudden, at the end of the day, you cannot hide what I see and then what feeling it gives to you when you see it.
That's right.
And
I mean, listen, some things too, right. It's so the most important thing is, you having dialogue. Because I mean, there's things we were told, we were taught about, and I still took my lumps.
yeah,
Because, but at least I knew, like, all right, this is not something that I was fully unaware of.
yeah.
but like I said, more and more, I know it's, like I said, I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, but we gotta do it. We gotta do it.
Yeah.
We gotta do it because we just like I said, we gotta do it. You know,
Mhm.
that's our best weapon.
Mhm.
Communication is our best weapon. And if we're communicating, if we're talking, there's gonna be some ugly things, but I
Yeah.
think that'll lead to like more precious things. More precious things.
It's
That's
only
why I like
ugly
good
because
questions.
it's on stuff is only ugly because we're ashamed of it.
You're ashamed of it.
That's where the ugliness comes from.
Yeah.
Because
We
we
all
give
go
it
through the
that
same
kind of
stuff in trial and tribulation. It's nothing ugly about it. It's just something you went through, but we're ashamed of it. So we call it ugly. We make it out to be
Yeah.
something ugly, and it's not. It's just life.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mom. What was you
Oh,
saying?
I'm sorry.
I said that's the connotation we give it. How we describe it makes it ugly.
Mhm.
No,
And
well, I
when we
mean,
present it to our children. If we present it to our children in a, well,
Ugly,
like
in an ugly
I
sense.
like Trey with the PK being the PK child or whatever, you were never allowed to talk about that stuff, so
right.
then you became,
Right.
you
I mean,
became-
this. I mean, and I think there's a difference too. Like, right, that the need for the discussion is not the ugly. I mean, when I was referring to the ugly, I mean some of our actions, some of our decisions. So that's why I said we still have to be frank
Right.
and
Yeah.
talk about them and not be kind. First of all, be kind to ourselves
Yeah.
about it. Be honest, but be kind. Do not condemn yourself and shame yourself. Christ took on the shame, the shame of the cross. So we don't have to, but it's hard because you're being honest, but it's also
That's right.
it's like a cleansing, right? Like going back to the relationship. If you're starting to know someone and we're asking these questions and we're getting to places, there's a cleansing going on.
Mm.
And like I said, that's not necessarily, woo, can't wait for it. No, but it's vital. And you're willing to do it if you're like, I'm trying to get to the other side of this.
Yeah.
I want it to be me and you. So I want to be as honest as I can be. And I have to be willing. Like I know from a man's perspective, I have to be willing to take the chance that after I'm talking to her about my story, she says, oh, that's too much for me to handle. I have to be, because to not do that would be just, holding the stuff in. And then later on, she's like, wait, how come you didn't?
Well, how come
You
you
got
didn't
to,
tell me? Yeah.
because somebody will
Yeah.
accept you or be able to handle it. So, because I don't want to judge somebody because they might just say that's too much for me.
But
Yeah.
if you
What
gave
else
them
am
the option though, that's the
Yeah.
whole maturity. You give
Yeah.
people options.
Yes.
It's like being in a relationship and you find something out and you would say, why didn't you tell me from the beginning?
Mhm.
You didn't give me the option to say if I want to be in this relationship or walk away from you.
Yeah.
That's
You
Yeah.
took me for granted and made a decision
For me.
for me. So you took
Oh.
away my power
Mm-hmm.
to make a decision.
And he ruled over you. See,
And
that's a
some
bad,
people do that out
right?
of fear, and that's fear because they feel as though that no one will accept them as they are.
Accept them as they are. Yeah.
It's
That's
fear.
sloppy leadership.
Well, that's right. Sloppy leadership. There you
Oh,
go.
wow, okay.
Sloppy.
Yeah,
leadership.
because like I said, going back to the Genesis thing, if Adam is doing something, or it says she's going to desire him and he's going to rule over her. Okay, what would be a negative way he would rule over her? Oh, she don't need to know about it. I'm handling this.
Mm.
That's
Wow,
true.
you like Joanne just said, you've now stripped her of autonomy in that situation.
Mhm.
Hey, you didn't let me, you just like, okay, I'm just a piece. I'm just a piece of whatever you brought me along, and I didn't get a chance to say yay or nay. And you need to, like you said, respect my yay or nay. You know, But men a lot of times want to, because we want to be problem solvers quick, we want to eliminate processes. Now I don't need to, and she know. See, now you're taking advantage of them and just saying that. But if it was flipped, you black out. Yo, why didn't you tell me?
Why you ain't tell me?
Right, ain't that something? Right.
Be real quick. Y'all ain't told.
And the thing about it is, she's supposed to be your general, your ally. So
Yeah.
how is it that you do not tell your ally what's going on? Because maybe God gave
Because-
your ally the insight.
That's why
everybody-
you got blown up at the
everybody-
bunker.
Well, see, because every man don't believe that.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah,
That's a good one.
that's
Yeah,
true. That's
exactly.
true.
That's right. Every man does not believe that.
Now,
They
that's
don't
another good
believe
question. Do
that
you
are
believe
their
that?
ally. Yeah,
That's true.
that's a question you gotta ask. Do you
Yeah.
believe that I am your ally?
Mhm.
Do you believe that I am your friend,
good
that I got
question.
you? You understand what I'm saying? Because a
Yeah,
lot of men don't believe that.
He believes
know
that.
why?
They
Because-
believe that
Because
you
they
are
don't,
the,
they,
wait
they
a
don't
minute,
trust
wait.
women.
They
A lot of
no,
men don't trust
listen,
women.
listen, Erica, they believe that you're their competition.
That's true.
That's right, that's
Wait,
right.
say that. Wait,
true.
say that again. Wait, say that again.
Sometimes they believe that you're their competition.
Yep.
Oh,
And that's why they don't believe that you're their ally.
Yep, that's true.
Because if you go out here and you make more money than them, then now it's a problem. So even just like how if you do something and then they have to turn around and say, well, I got it. Well,
right.
I
Wait, wasn't Brittany talking about that a little bit? Like part of her
a
issue?
little
The
bit
competitive.
competitiveness.
Oh, she did, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
And that's
competitiveness.
wow.
You can't be in a relationship competing with one another. You're not there to compete.
Well, see, I was going to say that when I listened to this one, she sounded like Jay, but it was just from the woman's perspective. Like y'all doing this, we're doing the same thing, but we go about it differently.
Right, right.
Right. So with the competitive, with the whole, I can't be, they can't see me like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm.
Now the competitiveness breeds jealousy.
It sure does.
Yes.
Yep. It
Yeah.
sure does.
That,
That's horrible though.
And
That's
then
horrible.
you jealous of your partner. Now y'all living in the same house, supposed to be helping one another, but one of y'all's jealous at the other.
be like
Yeah.
Mr. and
Ain't
Mrs.
that
Smith,
something?
man.
So you living in a house with a jealous person, and jealousy
Shooting
is-
everything all up.
Shooting everything all up. Yeah.
yeah. And people get killed over jealousy.
Tearing up the house.
Wait, did y'all see that? Did y'all see that movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Yeah.
Yes.
And look at it spiritually.
Mhm.
Right. That's what, listen, me and you, we right there. When y'all was just talking about that, I'm like, think about it. They're competing against each other.
Tearing up the house, but they tearing up the house.
Mhm.
Yes.
Not tearing up the house, the
Mhm.
frame of the building.
Mhm.
But wait a minute, hold on, check it. Oh, this is good. Now you saw what happened at the end of the movie. They found out who the real enemy was, and
Yeah.
they started to work together. Oh man, come on,
Mhm.
come on, man.
At
Let's
the end,
go.
but all the damage they done.
Damage
They
they
did,
done.
yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Mhm.
and they did. Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
And it was funny. They were in another thing. They were using their gifts or their skills against each other instead of. And so it's just like, wow, both of them, like none of them, like one does this, but the other has a counter. Oh, I got a counter to the counter. And so it's all these counters.
Tick for tack.
Yeah, we're not going to go nowhere. Like we're not
Yeah.
going to, like I used to hear my dad say sometimes, like, don't think you won an argument. He said you're in a relationship because he said you didn't.
You never do.
So you never do, you never did because that combative. So you're not communicating. You're trying to say, listen, I told you.
I'm right.
I
You're
told
wrong.
you is.
And I hate sarcasm. I hate when, oh, you're right.
You don't like sarcasm? What? So beautiful.
What did he say?
Sarcasm is a beautiful thing.
I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I can't stand when somebody like they're so sarcastic and they're like, oh yeah, well, I was right. No, I was wrong. You were right. And what is that? Passive aggressive.
Passive aggression. Yeah.
I hate
Passive aggressive.
I do not like that, because it's like, yo, you're really not solving anything. What you're doing is you're getting out of the conversation, you're getting out of this conversation because you don't want to address it.
Right, right. You can listen, you can address the passive aggressiveness in you real easy by just, what are you really thinking? But when you don't do that, that's when it goes to these highs and lows. Like, wait a minute, you said 2 months ago you had no problem with it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
obviously I lied. That's why I'm mad now. That's why I'm,
You
going
said, you was like, yeah, I don't care.
That's another one. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
You said you didn't care. See, this is what the problem is. When you start saying things like, oh, I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it. And then you turn around, somebody go do it. Then you're like, well, why would you do something like that?
Why are you worried about it? You said you ain't care.
Right. What?
So I did what I wanted to do.
Right. It knew you.
Right, okay?
You said you didn't care. So I
Okay.
figured, I do what
You
you want.
left it up to me, so I took care of it.
I took care of it. I went and bought a new vehicle. You
Okay,
said
there you go.
The man,
Okay.
well, you ain't got a whole car.
you ain't got
You said you ain't care.
that. You didn't care.
Okay.
Oh man.
Like, if y'all don't hold the conversations, okay, you don't talk about the finances, you don't talk about how you feel, you don't talk about all of these different things, and guess what? People are going to take advantage of that because they're going to use that and be like, oh yeah, well, you didn't say anything, so what did you just say? You didn't say nothing. What? I'm confused here. I did say something.
Mm. Mm.
That's true.
What was it?
She's like,
I didn't hear it when you said don't go buy the car. I didn't hear that. I heard don't spend the money on reckless stuff. But a vehicle is something we need, so I went and bought it.
what she say? You gotta be very specific. You have got
Gotta
to
be
be very
specific,
specific. Yes, you do.
right? You gotta break it down.
You gotta break it down. Okay,
Break it down for me.
okay.
Be
You
real
gotta tell me,
specific.
come on now.
They said, listen, when you said I don't support your dreams, that's fine. You don't have to, but I wouldn't bought a bus.
Okay,
Mm.
The bus gonna support our dreams.
okay, there you
Support
go.
our dreams.
Mm.
She said I went and bought a bus. Oh my
I
God.
went
When
and
you bought
got a bus.
Guess what? I'm gonna put a bunch of people on there. That's
Latrina, a bus. I went and bought a bus.
Right. I am.
Hey, how about that?
you don't support my dreams. Okay, I bought a bus. For what? To put
For
the
the ones that's
people
gonna
on there.
support me.
She said to put the people on there.
To put the people in there that is going to support me.
That's right, because every time they pay me, they support my dream. Okay, every time they pay me for a bus ride.
Oh my.
I needed somebody to support it since you ain't going to. Okay.
Ooh.
Latrice is funny. She said a bus. Oh my goodness.
If
Man.
you don't break it down specifically, hey, I'm gonna handle it.
Mm.
Okay. And that's what happens though. I mean, we laughing, but that's what happens.
No, that's right.
When you don't hold them conversations and,
Yo, 'cause
your
words are
partner gets the
powerful.
feeling that you are not, you are not interested, you're not tuned in, you're not paying attention, partners go off and do their own thing.
But this is a whole reason. This is a whole reason why you have to be specific.
Right.
My son instructions, right? We were making shrimp. We were making fried shrimp. And I said to him, hey, after the shrimp is in the egg wash and everything like that, put the shrimp inside of the batter. This boy poured all the batter. He poured all the shrimp that was wet inside the batter. I said, well, why would you do that? He gonna say, you didn't tell me to take the shrimp out individually and put it in the batter. He said, you told me to pour the shrimp in the batter.
He did what she told him.
He did exactly what I told him. I said,
He did do it.
I said,
He
so
did do it.
you
Wow.
specific instructions.
You sure do.
I
Yeah.
said, now I know what type of
I
child you are. I
mean,
need to
that's
give
where
you
it's,
individual instructions. He needs specific instructions. If you don't break it down, 1 + 1 + 1, he's not gonna understand it. Now,
Mhm.
Jalen, I could say, Jalen, hey, I need you to take the shrimp and put it inside the batter. Jalen would took each one individually,
Mhm.
put it inside the batter. But my other baby, no, he
no,
just
that is interesting how
You gotta learn your partner.
you can take, somebody can
Gotta
say
learn.
something and you
Mhm.
can look at the surroundings by it and know that I'm supposed to do that, where like you said, someone else, you have to be more
very specific.
specific.
Yeah, and it's just the way the mind works. That's why you have
Right,
to know your partner, and when you gotta pay attention. So when y'all are getting to know each other in the beginning stages, you gotta pay
Yeah.
attention
Yes,
Yeah.
to what
That's
they're
why-
doing, how they operate, how they listen to you.
that's right.
You know what I mean? How they respond to certain things and all
Right,
that
that's
stuff.
good.
Yeah.
Right, you
I
can't
gotta give
just
my
be
husband specific
comfortable.
instructions.
You can't be comfortable with the mere fact that they are the opposite sex.
Right.
You can get a comfort. Like I think about that even with language. Learning a different language makes you think differently about the language you already know, because you're so used to it. So that's why people can say stuff and you kind of don't pay attention to them. Yeah, I heard you. But then later on they say, wait, what did you say? You're too comfortable. But if you're learning a new language, guess what? You focus, you're trying to wait, okay, what's that mean?
What's
You're
that
trying to find a nuance, you're trying to find a meaning.
Yeah.
And so there's this investment you put in that. So you gotta do the same thing in what you're comfortable with. But like you said, a lot of times we won't do that. And then like you said, we miss things that were right there. It happened. It was right in front of your face.
Right in front of your
You
face.
saw it, but you
Yeah.
just,
There you go. You ignore it.
that's nothing. Right.
Mhm.
You
God.
know,
Thank God, we listen. I love this conversation.
yeah.
I think
No,
this
remember we was calling we was calling red flag, like you see red flag,
flags.
calling them white flags.
White
And you
flags.
surrender into it, like that ain't what it is. No.
I surrender.
That was a red flag. You saw it. Nah, it's white.
What's a white flag?
I didn't know that was white. Oh my God.
That was white.
the yellow one on the flag of the play.
I surrender to you. Yeah.
I surrender. Y'all better stop. You know, when we start acting like this, we start
Yeah, it's time
You
to go.
okay?
It's time to
time
go.
to go to bed. All right. So listen, this was a good conversation. This was a really good conversation. I really enjoyed this one. Just like the one 2 weeks ago with the Hill Bro Hill. And you know it's 2 parts to Hill Brother Hill.
Oh, good Lord, it's another one?
I didn't even watch the first
It's
one.
2 parts. It's 2 parts. You didn't watch the first one?
Uh-uh.
So it's actually 2 parts to Hill Brother Hill. It's the one that I sent y'all was the first one, and then it's another one, a second part to Hill Brother Hill. But we don't have to do that in 2 weeks. We
Yeah, I might put that on while I'm driving. Cause see, I drive so much. That's why I'm able to like listen to some of that stuff. Cause if I wasn't driving, I probably be like, wait a minute, I can't, I don't have no time. But
I had no time to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
But
might.
it is pretty good though. It is really good. I mean, the Terrence, he's all right. Some of his, podcasts is, a little bit off the deep end.
No, some of his stuff. No, I ain't gonna get into that because that's gonna be a whole nother conversation. But he says a couple of things in the Hill Brother Hill. I was like,
yeah, he be talking some extra stuff. I'm gonna send y'all a different one, and I want y'all to listen to it. And we're gonna talk about that one because
wait a minute, is he a minister? No,
No,
no, he's not.
Okay.
he's just he's a Christian.
He's just
He's
a Christian. Okay.
and basically he's part of an organization called the Lit Society, Living in Transparency.
Yeah,
I don't even know there was
okay,
such
that's what it was.
society.
That's what I had a question about, because I remember him saying that. But then in that first video with Jay, he was talking about how I guess the woman he's married to, like her kids, he's like, they're my kids, right? They're my kids too. So he was saying his son went
He didn't
Who's
marry,
married?
though.
Jay Burnett
He's
is
not
married.
married.
Oh, then why is he saying, who is he talking about then?
Jay Burnett's single.
The Terrence is not married.
So Terrence is not married.
So who are the ones he was calling his
He's
son?
got foster kids.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's who. Okay, that's what it was. And he was saying how his son went into the car, opened up the glove compartment,
And
and
found
found all the condoms.
condoms. Yeah.
And he said something like, well, this is just in case. But then I'm like, well, wait a minute. How,
Yeah.
it was contrary to what everything they were talking
But
about.
what he was talking about.
Right, that's
exactly.
why it stood out to me, because I'm saying, wait a minute, you said you're practicing abstinence.
Yeah,
So why are you fueling?
yeah.
Think about
something
it.
Like that.
Once again, the diet thing. If you
Yeah.
pack, we used to say that, me and Will used to say this all the time, bro, do not pack. Because if you
Yeah.
pack, you
And
plan it.
You're planning, yeah.
So
ahead.
All right,
planning.
in his defense, first of all, now, from what I understand, as far as men are concerned, I'm not a man, is that sexual urge is very strong in men. It's very strong in men. From what I understand, this is what I heard, because I have a whole family full of men. So, I mean, it's very strong, and it's hard to bring that under submission as a man, to control that urge.
Okay.
Now, if he's saying that he is practicing abstinence, does not mean that he might not slip and fall and may want to have something on hand just in case, because he's a human. He's
Okay.
human.
Okay.
I hear,
You
okay,
don't
I
know
hear,
how long he's been walking in this, that maybe he just started. You know what I mean? You don't know.
No,
I
he's
mean,
been in
no, that's true, but I think, at least from my view, you're still preparing. I mean, you're a grown man. If it's like that, you could go to the
True,
store.
Trey, you
Why
still
do you
playing
have to
around.
have something on you? Number one, and I will say this because it's interesting.
I was just thinking.
About the urge. I'm gonna say this, which, like I said, once again, in the pandemic, I was finding me. That thing that we say is an urge, and it's, man, I had to. A lot of it is, once again, you're medicating. Emotionally, you feel a certain way about something. So to address it, sex
Self-medicate.
seems like the right. So it manifests as something that you can't stop, when in reality, you can. I'll
Mhm.
give you a perfect example. If it's an urge that's uncontrollable, I would say the urge comes up, but somebody come up to you, put a gun to your forehead trying to rob you. Let me ask you, are you thinking about the urge? Or has your stuff shifted? Has your mind shifted? Has your perspective shifted?
There you go.
Shifted, right? So, because it's like this, if it's an urge, meaning you can't stop it, guess what? You're gonna be like Gator. You
Gonna be like
can't
Gator,
stop.
that's
It's
right.
an addiction.
It's an addiction.
Yeah. So I don't, me personally, just from doing some research, I don't believe that there's people who have certain issues, granted, but generally, when we diagnose somebody with, they have sex addiction, no, it's not. It's an emotional, you have some emotional things
Yeah.
that you're not taking
That
care
you're
of.
not taking control of. There you go. Go ahead,
What,
Erica.
Erica? What?
Okay, now, remember how the Bible says, be fruitful and multiply,
Right,
replenish the earth.
right.
So that urge is natural, is it not? It's natural, right?
No, okay, I see what you're saying. No, okay.
I'm just saying, it's
for us
natural.
to
If when
be-
something is innate like that, it's hard to put it away. It's
Well,
hard to bring that down, especially if you're brought up.
Well, see, I don't believe that, only because scripture tells us,
No, it's difficult. It's
self-control.
difficult. Uh-huh.
meaning you can self-control, discipline.
Yeah,
can
you gotta
do it.
see.
So the urge, I think this, because you're saying urge, and
Sexual
you're
urge.
almost looking at it like you're
Sexual
looking at two
urges.
sides. Urge where, like you said, uncontrollable, I have to, which I
gotta
don't
have.
believe. But the urge where you say, no, I'm naturally attracted. I have that. I'm a sexual being. Yes, of course. We all are.
That's exactly what I'm talking.
me.
That's exactly what I'm talking.
Yeah, but that doesn't, but
It's the
that doesn't
sexual urge.
mean, but see that,
So if
that sounds like,
if you don't have the urge, does that mean that you're not attracted to that person?
No.
wait, say that again?
No, that doesn't mean that.
If you
Yeah.
don't have that urge?
No,
No.
because,
No.
wait, say that again?
Oh, that's Alicia. She said no. She was saying
Oh, no, because like I said, for instance, I think it's not like if someone was a drug addict or an alcoholic. That's different. The chemicals in your mind, you're now, listen, that's a whole different, you actually, depending on the level, you have to keep drinking. Like my uncle, when he got worse when he got sober because he had drank so much and it was
I heard it. Yeah, I've
in
heard
his
this.
system.
I've
Well,
heard it before.
alcoholics, they have to drink alcohol every day. They have to take, to wean themselves, actually wean off of alcohol, you have to still have it in your system.
Right.
Because if
I've
you
heard that.
don't, you can get really, really sick, and you can also, you can die. You can die from it.
Your
So
body goes into.
See, that's why, right? And that's why I use the example of, for instance, a crackhead, and they on a mission. You could threaten their life. That don't stop their
stop
mission.
them from getting what they need.
But if I wanted to, like, yo, I'm trying to go see old girl. If somebody trying to like take my life, old girl ain't in my head.
No.
So that's at least from my perspective,
I
proof
was
that
just
this
saying.
urge is not this uncontrollable thing. You can
was-
have a desire and want, and men do, but like I said, it can be averted.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying it wasn't. I was just saying, you know what I mean? I said, for whatever reason, if he got that in there, there's a reason.
Well, and like I said, it's the mindset. If they hold that to high value, then
Yeah.
yes, of course,
And
because
yes, of
that is
course.
valuable to them, and they're like, no, listen, I have to get this done.
Yeah.
But I would tell somebody, no, you can. It's not uncontrollable.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, it's
There
definitely.
is no
definitely so.
temptation
No.
What'd you
to
say?
man that God doesn't give you a means and a way out of.
You
Wait a minute,
said,
say it again.
no temptation known to
No
man that doesn't give you a
temptation.
means a way out of
That
it.
God doesn't give you a means and a way out.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you're
Yeah,
saying
I mean,
what you just said, what Trey just said, so if you have the sexual urge, right? You have an urge, and somebody comes up to you with a gun, then now he didn't give you a way out of that.
Because you ain't
but
got that
that's,
urge
but see,
no
that's why I
more.
said. But see, the funny thing is, you have a way out. But the other question to that is, are you capable of moving in that direction? So, for instance, for the drug addict, they're not. Yeah, that way is provided. That mercy is being granted, but man, you don't even have the sense and awareness to be like, I need to do that, because the mission you're on is the greater way. You know, and I just thought about the passage of scripture too, where check this out. Every other sin which a man commits is outside the body. But the immoral man sins against his own body. Right? So if that be the case, and I'm surrendering my temple, because Paul said, don't you know your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So once again, we were talking about humbling ourselves. If you humble yourself, God will handle that, quote unquote, it's uncontrollable. No, it can be controlled. If we submit, and the spirit, I believe the Spirit of God gives us power. Now, what's the way he could give us power? For me to be aware that there are other beauties in this life. It's not just sex. See, there's so many things we can well, there's scripture that set your affections on things above, not on things here. We can set our affections. That psalm that we like to quote all the time, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart. Man, this is our most powerful, the most powerful thing in our body is right here. Just think about it. When you, I always think, you know me, I got to do movies and shows. You know, they did SWAT, not the movie, but the show, the series that was on with Shamar Moore, right? So they break up in these drug dealers' house one time, and they shooting at the boy, and he's still coming at him. And why? Because he was hocked up on these drugs. So in his mind, he was like, I can't be stopped. So he kept coming after him until he was gone. So whether you're a good steward or a bad steward of your mind is powerful. So you can do some quote unquote mighty things. They stupid, but you're brave enough to do them because you've now charged your mind up with these drugs. So imagine if it's charged up
With
with the
God,
Spirit of God.
there you go.
Man, you know, you do some, you can do some work. You
Mhm.
can worship well.
Now,
So for instance, like I said, June, July, August, sundresses, but I want to worship well.
nakedness,
I want to worship.
Oh, it's gonna be a
well.
whole lot of nakedness.
it's gonna be naked.
Oh yeah. Listen, be real. Prepare yourself now. I prepare myself now for that.
I'm gonna bring the leaves with me.
But no, but wait a minute. Greater than the leaves is the mind. Because in the 1800s, when they were wearing the skirts up under the shoe, why was dudes still lusting? Because it wasn't really about the clothes.
No, it's
It was
not.
all right. It was the mind.
It's the mind.
Right. It was something. You see her ears? It was
Yeah,
something.
right,
You'll
right,
find something.
right. Ain't that something? Yeah,
Trust me, a man will
Yeah.
find something.
absolutely,
Oh my God.
absolutely. It
So that's
has-
one thing that
yeah,
I learned too. Like
And
we
her eyes
blaming,
were so sensual.
right,
Yeah, right,
right.
her eyes,
we
eyes, yeah.
blaming like people nowadays and what they got on. Like no. It's been happening since the
It's
dawn
just
of
passing the
time.
buck. Nobody wants to take responsibility for their actions, so they just passing it along. It's your fault because you had on that mini skirt.
Right,
No, there you go.
right,
Yeah,
right.
It's
you
your
wanted
fault.
it because
Wait.
she had on tight clothes.
Sister,
She wanted it.
sister
fault, you
Lisa
beautiful.
showed her ankle. You know,
Right.
it's like you blaming everything else.
Right, but yourself. Yeah, nobody wants
Right.
to take
No,
it.
that's
They want to
true.
take responsibility.
It's
That's what
funny.
it
The
is.
church did blame y'all a lot, yo. They did blame y'all
Yes.
a lot. They
Yes.
blame y'all. Listen, the men was like back here, like they blaming the women, like
For
you know,
everything.
pastor, it's because that woman didn't say. Oh, so the pastor don't have a brain?
No, he
Well,
doesn't.
y'all know where that comes from, right?
Oh
The Trey know what you know where that the blaming of the women come from.
yeah, I told you Genesis 3:17.
Yeah, Adam did that. He
Listen,
started that.
Adam started right at the rip. Like, wait
He
a
sure
minute.
did. The woman you gave me did that.
Your dad. She did it. Shoot.
He done told God,
I
well, the
ate
woman
it,
you
but-
gave me did that. Okay, so
But
it's your
I
fault.
ate it, but she gave it to me.
So if he
Right.
blamed, now he blamed God. Now mind you, I didn't think about that. He blamed God too. Well, you gave it to me. That's what she did.
Right, listen.
Basically,
There you go. There you go. Look at the reverend up on here. Yes,
Okay.
Erica.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
All right.
That was a poke in the eye to God.
It was, yeah.
You didn't trust.
Right.
First of all, you didn't trust him. You didn't believe him.
Uh-huh.
Y'all good. Look at all these trees. Are y'all good?
Uh-huh.
Now, once again, narrow focus.
Uh-huh.
Got all of this.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Well, I want the one thing that you said, because
I
you know,
can't
because
have.
That's the story of.
she blamed Satan. Well, Satan, he did it. He talked to me. And so I hate it.
That's the story. Listen, it's always like that. I remember, I think I told y'all this before. As a kid, I remember like when Holly Berry first came out, I was like, how could anybody cheat on Holly Berry?
Mhm.
Easy. You always want what you don't have. So
Right.
it's not, it's you know,
You want what you don't have. I
And
know
she's
that's
just,
right.
she's human like everybody else.
she human like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. But from my young boy perspective, I was like, no, she's so beautiful that it answers, or it's the solution
Every
to
problem.
everything, right? But that was proven false,
Mhm.
obviously.
It will
But
always
I thought
be.
these guys, I was like, yo, these guys stupid. But then as I got like, no, you always, it don't matter who you with. If you're not disciplined and if you're not with them, there's always something else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, I'm done. All right,
You sure?
He's done.
I'm done.
You
Yeah,
sure?
Listen,
I'm
he's
disciplined.
done. He's done, guys. He's done.
He ain't done. No, he ain't.
It's time to go to
It's
bed.
something else gonna come up
Exactly, right?
in like another minute.
It's time.
Right.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all my needs.
No matter of fact, Latrice, you can pray us out because I don't want to. Yes.
Oh man.
Bro, goodbye. Pray us out.
You-
All right, no, I'll pray to Trey.
No, you got it. You got it. Oh no, Erica can pray us out.
Erica, pray us out.
Why y'all gonna put that on me?
Listen, man, we trying to encourage each other, man. Get you a little bit more.